Yes, welcome back to Football Heritage TV for the Spurs review, episode 31. And have we got a lot to talk about tonight? We've got so much to talk about. And if it wasn't for all the things we already knew, Lubo's got a guy. And Lubo's guy is giving us gossip galore to talk about. On a serious note, welcome to Danny. Welcome to Kate. Welcome to Lubo and welcome back to Manny. Manny, do me a favor. If you could turn your TV off in the background so I don't get copyrighted, that would be absolutely amazing. I've just realized just because some people are the way they are. Are we all good? Is everyone okay?
Yeah.
All good tonight.
Good. Oh, good. It sounds lively. It sounds like we're going to have a nice, lively show. The energy in the room. Loving it. Guys, girls, tonight we've got James Maddison. Massive injury blow. Massive injury blow. We've got Palhinha. We just signed him. And if you don't believe me, here you go. Believe Spurs official. Saying welcome to Tottenham Hotspur. Yow. Palhinha. And we've got a lovely little video of him. There you go. There it is. Some lights, the cockerel, and the Spurs shirt. We're going to talk about Maddison. We're going to talk about Palhinha. We'll talk a bit about the Newcastle game, which was a bit overshadowed by other events. Talk about Sonny, of course. Sonny has left the club as Palhinha joins the club. And we're going to talk, and we're going to start with this, guys, if that's okay. We're going to start with this. First of all, you lot in the chat, know where your nearest fire exit is, and also make yourself known to the like button, please. Smash that like button. We should be getting to 300 within the first 10 minutes. We're on 64. So let's keep smashing that. And thank you to everyone who has subscribed. We've done 500 subscribers in the last 4 days. So thank you very much as we are nearly at 20.5K. So please subscribe to me. And more importantly, subscribe to the Hotspur Hood, to Kate and Jimbo, the perfect match. Subscribe to Designated Hotspur and subscribe to Lubo, the Spurs 5. I want to start with this, people. I'm going to start with you, Kate. I said to you backstage, tell me if I'm an idiot for what I'm about to say, and no one did say I was an idiot. This is the worst group of wingers stroke forwards I think Spurs have assembled in about 20 years at this football club. I'm truly worried that if we don't go and buy 2 or 3 more creative number 10s, wingers and strikers, I've got a feeling we're going to be hard to beat, well organised, well drilled, but we're going to struggle to score goals. Kate, am I being reactive or am I along the right lines? What do you think?
No, I think you're on the right lines. I just think it's not panic stations just yet because there is still a certain amount of time in the window left. Mm-hmm. But like Johnson today, he nicked another goal, but he didn't do anything else. Like he literally, I watch him. I so want him to do well. I've always backed him, but I'm losing my patience because after time when you're watching him, you feel like you're playing with 10 men because he literally does nothing. The difference in quality when Kudus comes on is so apparent. Richarlison is definitely not that guy. There's no doubt about it. I can't bear to think of us going into next season with him. Obviously now we've got Madders out as well. We're losing another element of creativity. So I agree with you. I think we're going to be hard to beat. However, it does worry me where all the goals are going to be coming from. Even Sonny, I know it was the right time for him to go and he's losing it and what have you, but he still used to come up with goals here and there. I just don't know where our goals are going to be coming from. Tell had that chance today. I was absolutely willing him to chip the keeper or go round the keeper, and he put it straight into Pope's arms. I've got a feeling Tell might come good, but he's not ready. Whatever happens, he's not ready right now for the Premier League. So we need to be signing another winger, another striker before the start of the season, really. Otherwise, I do worry for us a little bit about where the goal's going to come from.
Yeah, let me, Manny, let me come to you. I don't disagree with anything Kate said there other than the Tell bit. I've seen absolutely nothing. Honestly, I don't think he'd even be a top championship player. I think he's awful. Sorry, I'm harsh with this. I'm not giving benefit of the doubts anymore, Manny. Where are you at, mate? We've got Kulu and Maddison both out injured for long periods of time. We've got wingers that don't score, wingers that don't assist, and strikers that don't score and strikers that don't assist. What's going to happen, mate?
Yeah, well, I was saying to you guys backstage, I think it's only at Spurs that we have these sorts of conversations because our board, whether board is recruitment, whoever it is that you want to blame, don't do the job properly. Like from my perspective, especially after watching the Arsenal game that we played just a few days ago, I was thinking, you know what? I was watching Odegaard and I was thinking, okay, there is something that Frank can actually maybe work with here. You know, he's direct. He's got a good touch of the ball. He's very weak, and his decision making is quite poor at the moment. But you could obviously, he's not generational, so you could say, well, he needs time, he needs to grow, he needs experience. It's only at Spurs that we look at the squad and we think, well, Sonny is leaving, Tel is being played and deployed up front. So really and truly, Solomon is injured. So really and truly, Odegaard is going to be our starting left winger at the moment as we speak. You would not get that in any single top club in this Premier League. Exactly. Every single top club in the Premier League will see a player and a young player and think, right, you know what? This person might have something. So let us get a starting player and bring this player in to learn from the starting player, or as a rotational player to get time to bed in. It's only at Spurs that we're looking right now, we're thinking, ooh, so Maddison is injured, Sonny is leaving. So, okay, let's play Odegaard in the 10, Tel who's not ready at left wing, or actually maybe let's bring Kudus into the 10 because he plays there for Ghana, and put Backbus Brennan on the right. It's a shambles when it comes to how we actually plan for the season going forward. So I understand your perspective, obviously, with regards to Tel and Odegaard. From my perspective, I look at Tel and I'm thinking wasted 45 million because we're not deploying him on the left, which is where he should be, because he's definitely not a striker. So why did we buy him? And then we have Odegaard, who's got flashes of brilliance, but we are thinking he might be our starting winger. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. Like Maddison, that looked like a very, very long-term injury. Kulu, every single time I look at his Instagram posts, he is loving life on holiday. He's not anywhere near ready at the moment. So yeah, lovely way to bring us back down to earth, isn't it?
It is. I mean, Lubo, it's really strange because we finally got the manager in that will make us hard to beat. Is tactically sound. You can see that there's shape. You can see that we're good defensively. I can see that already in 3 or 4 games. And now all of a sudden, where we've been strong for the last 10, 15 years or so, which fair enough, we've had Son and Kane at their peak for so many years where it was like, all right, we've not got a playmaker, but you know what? We'll get away with it. We've not got a good defense. You know what? We'll get away with it. I don't think we're going to get away with it this year if we don't get better players in, Lubo.
They've got to. They've got to go and get a left winger. For me, you need a 9, 10 and an 11. Great. Whether we get all 3 remains to be seen. I'm sure there are agents phoning Spurs already, with players having seen Maddison's injury. So for me, I think you saw the team on Thursday against Arsenal. Was it Wednesday, Thursday? He played Johnson on the left, didn't he? And Kudus on the right.
Yeah.
And I think you'll find Solanke will come in, or if he doesn't fancy Johnson on the left, he may do what Ange did back end of last season and play Richie on the left. But they definitely need a left winger for sure. They need something to come in. Tel is not good enough. Simple as that. But the thing is that Frank will be watching. He'll be monitoring. They'll be looking at all the stats. He'll be watching the matches, going over videos with his eyes, and he'll see that Tel's not good enough. So, the pressure will be on to go out and find a player, who can do the job. I'm sure we will. I don't see us getting 3, maybe 2. But as Kate said, we've got 4 weeks till the end of the window. And I think, Manny, you said about lack of planning. I mean, you can't plan for a Maddison injury 9 minutes after he's come back after the last injury, can you?
Lubo, trust me. I was on this show when there was the announcement that we had signed Morgan Gibbs-White, right? And the first thing I said on being one of the main reason why I believed at the time that Frank wanted to bring in Morgan Gibbs-White is because the last major injury Morgan Gibbs-White got was when he was playing for Wolves. He is obviously can be deployed as a 10 and as an 8, but he is robust, right? He is someone who normally does not get injured. So the fact that obviously, I'm not saying that we're not thinking about bringing in a 10, but it was quite clear that we wanted to bring someone in from that perspective because Madders, and I know people are going to slate me for it, but from my perspective, is 1/3 of a player. He plays 1/3 brilliantly for a season, 1/3 he ghosts, and the other 1/3 he literally is injured. And we've known this not from Spurs, but we've known this from the Leicester days. They told us when we signed him. So I do think we are probably looking, because obviously when we tried to get Morgan Gibbs-White, that was probably the notion as well that he could cover that area. But yeah, from my perspective, there is no way you don't know that Maddison is going to get injured in the season. Maybe not as quickly as he did just now, but he was going to get injured at some point, and we're going to need a 10 at some point. That's my perspective.
Yeah, Manny, I agree with you. I don't even think this is about planning for a Maddison injury. I think if you're looking and seeing that Maddison and Kulu are both injury prone and are both with big injuries, you've got to build a squad. And for me, I'll say it, this might piss Lubo off. We've got to stop making excuses at this football club. I see excuses for, I'll bring Dan in here. Dan, I just feel like there's excuses for everything. Oh, we can't blame this, we can't blame that. I'm not seeing Chelsea messing around, right? Chelsea have bought one left winger this window. They're about to buy Garnacho as well. They're about to buy Garnacho and Bino Gittins, 2 left wingers in one window, right? They've got the best one. They've got arguably the best playmaker in the country in Palmer, arguably. I don't think there's many better. They're going to buy Xavi Simons, right? They're buying and buying and buying and buying. Man City buy and buy and buy and buy. These clubs are buying footballers. We've got the money to do it, and we always seem to need a reason to do it. Go and get the players, go and build the squad. And why aren't we doing it, Dan? Like, why is it always one transfer at a time and so slow?
Well, I think it's that saying that's going to stick with us. It's who we are, mate. Simple as that, really. And until we know something definitely is going to change behind the books, until we actually see the facts of it happening and that, nothing probably will ever change. I mean, 1 minute it was looking good because Levy wasn't in control, and then it totally went tits up. Levy was in control again for that, and it just chops and changes. I suppose it's just people's opinions and minds. Left wing, yes, but it's not going to happen. That's what Tel and Odebert are there for. In my opinion, Tel was brought in to take Son's place. Do I agree with it and do I like it? No. But that is why I do think they brought him in. Again, great scouting by Spurs as usual. Number 10, definitely a place we do need a bit of help on, because the minute that Maddison's not playing, there's just absolutely lack of creativity in that team. And I've said it for ages, he is brittle. And at times he is absolutely excellent. But when he's not playing, it really does show for us, because we've got absolutely no creativity on that pitch whatsoever. I mean, what Kudus is going to be able to provide with creativity, I think he'll give us some out on the right, but I need to see some games at him of Spurs before I can properly judge what sort of performance, what sort of creativity he is going to give us there. I mean, with the rest of it as well, I mean, some of it is just a bit comical for me, really. I mean, I think it was only a matter of 2 weeks ago that I'll say a majority of this fan base went into a complete and utter meltdown. Even some saying they want the manager out because we drew 2 games where we played half a team on each bloody side. And then in a matter, it was only a friendly. And then in a matter of another friendly, we've got an outstanding new coach there who is going to get the best out of that players. We just destroyed Arsenal and everything's looking cushy. And then in a matter of a couple of days in another game, it's gone into complete and utter fucking meltdown again.
I disagree. I don't think it has gone into complete and utter meltdown about the games. I think you're conflating 2 arguments there. I don't think from what I've seen that anyone's in complete and utter meltdown about the way Spurs play or that. But I think the meltdown is about the same thing that was before. That where's the players? Where are the listen? For as good as we were against Arsenal, for as good a coach that Frank is, he can't magic goals. He can't magic creativity, and that's been needed all window. And the only thing we've done is get Kudus, who I love Kudus, by the way. But where are the other players to?
The problem
I think one of the other problems I think that is definitely showing is that getting rid of players is something we ain't doing at the moment, and we do also need to do that. No, we should be getting the players in, this and that, but that's just not how Spurs work, is it? And we need to get rid of players as well, but Spurs won't buy the players until they got rid of the players or know they're going somewhere. And up front, it is shockingly poor up there to what we've had up there. And I mean, it is very poor. But then on the other side of it, scoring goals wasn't necessarily our biggest problem last season. I know it was in patches, like in games we'd score 4, 3, 2, 4 sort of thing, and then not be able to score. But scoring goals isn't the biggest problem there. For me, the biggest problem has already pretty much been sorted, I personally believe. Obviously, we need to see more games, but that is that defensive side of it.
Yeah, but Dan,
we've got a little bit of domination in midfield now.
But if you look at it, Dan, from a tactical standpoint, it's easy to score a lot of goals when you completely neglect your defence and just bomb everyone forward.
That's what I was about to get to.
Coming with the goals comes with the not conceding at a shed load, right? So it's got we've got to find that balance.
We've got to find that balance now, and to an extent of instead of looking for the 4 goals, we're going to be struggling looking for that 1 or 2 goals, and we've got to find a way to pull that off. And at the moment, if we buy no one up front, then Frank is going to have to adapt his way to suit the only player we've got up front who can actually score a regular goal by the look of it, and that is Johnson. And he's going to have to sort of adapt the way he sort of plays to do it in a little bit of an Ange way as well, of basically playing it like FIFA and putting it sweaty across the pitch and hoping that Johnson can tap it in.
Disagree more.
Because if you let me finish,
go on.
I'm not saying what I want us to do, because the only one we've got up front really who looks like he can score a goal on a regular basis, whether you rate him as a player or not, and I really, really don't, is Johnson with his little tap-ins. So if we get nothing up front, then we've only got one up there who you can say can score a regular goal with his little tap-in. Then that's down to Frank, where he's going to just adapt and what we have said he is capable of, and that's playing with the cards he's got. I want it that way?
I have to say, can I jump in very quickly though? I have to say that there's obviously we need to be fair, right, with regards to certain things. Frank himself, after the Arsenal game, made a comment about our attack and how our attacking patterns at the moment are non-existent, right? That's something that he will have to sort. He's just come in. What was it? Is it a month ago? 2 months ago? So that is something that he will, with time, he will understand his better forward players and start putting something together. That's not something to say that, it's not just the players that we have at the moment that is an issue. That's a big issue. But also the fact that we have no attacking patterns at the moment is also an issue. And it could be, as you guys said, that maybe it's because we're looking much more solid defensively, because that's a fact. Every single time we have a corner, every single time, an opposing team has a corner, every single time they're attacking us, I can see how structured we are. And I can see how everyone knows what they're supposed to do and how confident they are in if someone goes, there is someone behind it. If one of our whether the left back or right back goes forward, the other one tucks in, having us as a 3 at the back. You can see that. So if that's the issue, that is fair, but we have to also say that our attacking patterns at the moment are also non-existent. We can't go back into the whole, trying to get the ball across the face of the goal for a Brennan tap-in. We said that was an issue last season. We can't go back and say we have to go through the same thing this season. It can't work. We need to bring in quality players, and Frank himself knows that he needs to fix that attacking pattern. And that's not a dig at Frank at all, because he's just come in, and that it deserves time. You need time to be able to build those, and that will.
But Manny, how can you build attacking patterns when you haven't got a single creative player available to you?
At the moment, we have one, right? We have one. As I said, Kudus for Ghana plays in the 10. The problem you have is if you shift Kudus from that right winger side into that 10, that means that you're having to bring in Johnson, who, if he is not tapping in from the back, he's not doing anything else. He's absolutely useless. So you physically don't even want Frank to shift Kudus into that left.
I agree.
We need to bring players in.
Yeah, but the point is, will we bring players in? We can debate all this all day fucking long, and we all know the answer to it at the end of the day. Yes, we need to bring players in. Yes, players have to come in. Yes, we need a left. Yes, we need a striker. Yes, we need this. The question is, will we? And at the end of the day, time will tell. Yeah, we can't really say we will or won't until the end of the transfer window. I'm still not that rattled by it, because I know how we work. Yes, I want it all done yesterday, but it don't work like that at Spurs. So I will wait until the end of the season before I go off on one properly. But if we don't, then Frank's job, which we have all bigged him up on, well, I say all, I'll speak for myself here, and I'll speak for you on this one as well, Savva. What we have backed him up on is that he can play with the cards he's got. He can adapt to the cards he's got. He can adapt his game. He can get better out of the players. Well, if he doesn't get no new players up front, this is where we see if you and me was right and others was wrong, or was they right and we're wrong. And he is going to have to adapt to what he's got to make the most out of what he can get, which is going to be a bloody hard job.
Sure, but you've got to have the right tools in some way. Like, the one thing you would say is Ange had the choice of Maddison or Kulu. Like, he had creative footballers there that he could work with. He had the back end of Son when he was still scoring goals. You know, he brought in Brennan Johnson and Solanke. These were his guys. You know, Thomas Frank, I said, he's a great coach. He'll make us harder to beat, but you can't make players who aren't creative. That's not how it works. Every club needs that creative. Look at Brentford. He went and signed Damsgaard for creativity, right? He took years to get Mbuemo to get that creativity. Look, Kate, let me bring you in here. This is the worry, isn't it? That when you look at the wingers and the midfielders we've got without Kulu and Maddison, everyone seems very, I don't want to be rude, it just feels a bit ordinary. It's a bit plain. Like there's no one that gets the ball and they're jinking and they've got great control. And the biggest example I can give of this is, I said this to Lubo during the watch-along. Every one of those players that play today up top, whenever the ball goes to them, it bounces straight back because none of them are comfortable at keeping hold of a ball. That's Tell, that's Son, that's Richarlison, that's Odegaard. It just go bounce back. Johnson, bounce back. Kudus can do it. Maddison and Kulu can do it. But we need a few that can hold on to it, Kate, don't we? We need a few that can bring the ball down and bring others into play.
Yeah, I mean, I think I thought against Arsenal we was good at keeping the ball. I've got to be honest. I thought it was a really good display against Arsenal. I also think, and I know this is going to go down like a sack of potatoes on this channel, and I'm ready for the abuse immediately. I think Solanke, you're going to see a different Solanke this season, and I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater by any means, but if he gets the service, he's going to get it on the right wing. If we can get a decent left winger in, this guy can score goals. He proved it at Bournemouth. I think last year, I mean, it was chaos last year. Nobody stood out in that team because it was chaos. So I honestly think if we can get Solanke back, he will score goals. However, I would feel much more comfortable if he was an option with another striker. But I think we're forgetting that we have got him, and I do think we'll see a better side of him. But
10 or 20 goals.
He'll be nearer 20 than 10.
Oh, what, in the league?
In all competitions.
Oh no.
No,
See,
no. I was asking in the league.
In the league, I'll go. I think it'll be 12, 15 goals in the league.
Yeah,
and that's a £65 million striker, isn't it?
But Dan, if you listen to what I said he's not going to be a world beater and he's not going to score loads, but he's going to score more than he did.
Okay,
right?
but then if you look at it from a football perspective, 65 million, I expect my striker to be scoring at least 15, 16,
but
17
he
in
didn't
the
ask to
bloody
be sold
league.
for £65 million. He didn't put that price tag on his head.
Mind you got a fair point there. You got a fair point. I mean, he has had one good season in his entire career, so he might actually have a good season. I'll give you that.
But it's not his fault that Tottenham decided to pay £65 million for him.
No, but it is partly down to him that he's had one good season in his entire life.
Yeah, but he can only play with what he's got. And for me, last season, the whole team was so chaotic. You would have.
Yes, it was. I'll go with that.
I think
and
any
what
would have struggled last season.
He was also being asked to do something totally different, right?
Exactly.
He was being asked to come to drop in short, get the ball, spray it out, and then by the time the wingers are all the way up into the opposition box, he is now running in, trying to fall in. So it's somewhat different. One thing I do agree with Kate on is, in my opinion, my personal opinion, the left wing position and the 10 are way more important than the striking position, because we've got the right winger at the moment who takes on his first man, his second man, creates space. If we bring in a quality left winger that can do the exact same thing or more than Kudus, that creates a lot more space for Solanke, even if you think he's average, right? Because I have seen Mateta be absolute bang average for years on years, and all of a sudden he is banging in goals. I've seen a lot of average strikers who bang in goals if they got very good wingers on both sides. And I think that left wing position and that 10 position are very, very, very important. One thing, however, that I have to say that I agree with Dan with is, based on the track record of our board, I can definitely see it, that they are definitely thinking, right, we've got Odeber and Tel on that left-hand side. Maddison just got injured. We're not going to focus on that side, and we're just going to focus on the 10. That's my worry.
Manny, if we were, and welcome, Sean. If we were a proper serious club, like if we were a proper serious Champions League club, we wouldn't be talking about in what's more important, because let's be fair, we've now got no number 10. We don't have a single number 10 at the club now before Lubo tries to champion Jamie Donnelly as the next Ballon d'Or winner. Right? We've got no number 10 fit. All of our left wingers are crap. Sorry, I'll call it as it is. And our strikers both have never, ever had good seasons. And Solanke's had one good year in his career. For me, if we were a top club, we'd be going out and getting another forward to fight with Solanke. We'd go and get another playmaker to replace Maddison and Kulusevski. And we'd be going to get a left winger.
Yep, not 100%.
I want to see from the board this window.
If we were a proper club, we would be thinking, who do we need first before thinking who can we get rid of? We have become a club where we always think, what about this player? Or this will unsettle the other player. And you're thinking, no. Well, if this player thinks he's not looking to go, and he, as people use the word cock blocking, put the person in reserves. You say, you know what? Next season there is a World Cup year. You are not going to play until you find a club, and that is what we don't do. That's what other clubs do, and we have every single excuse under the sun and say, but we are acting honorably. Forget that. Forget all of that. It's all about what is on our pitch, starting 11, and our next 3-4 players. Are they good enough? That's what we should be focusing on. But the club doesn't act like that, so that's where it is.
No, the club acts like it looks out for other people and players more than it does itself. The club seems to want to take care of the world or take care of the players left, right, and centre, like they're the priority. Okay, they got to play football and that, but at the end of the day, fine, I don't want you at my club. Okay, if that player don't want to leave, you can't really get him out. And I do say a lot of players don't play for football; they play for money. But you can put it down and all right. You're going to train on your own. You don't even have to give him to the young ones to train. You can make him train on his own, and he can claim all he wants. But Yeah, go train on your
I
own.
mean-
Then you ain't going to see no football on that. But if the player don't want to go nowhere, you can't make it. But we won't do that to a player. And I bet you when it comes to a striker or a left, it wouldn't surprise me if we're already looking at it saying, oh, well, don't worry, Richarlison might be fit soon. I mean, if we was a serious club, we wouldn't even be sitting here talking about Solanke might score 12 goals next season.
No, I agree. Let me bring in Sean. Sean, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm all right. How you guys doing?
Yeah, not too bad. We were talking about, by the way, everyone in the chat, keep it clean. Feel free to have your opinion on footballers, but don't call my panel idiots, please. Otherwise, you'll be blocked, just like Soul Sniper Gaming was. That's simple. Sean, we were talking about obviously the injury to Maddison, which obviously we've already got the long-term injury to Kulu, and it looks like with Sonny going and Kane going in the last few years, we look very, very ordinary up top in those areas. I would go as far to say that we've got the worst forward line in the top half of the table. What do we need to do?
I think it's believe it or not, I think it's a blessing in disguise what happened today. And here's my logic on it. I think it's Maddison's out for months, no doubt, right? His knees, he's come out from 4 months, same knee's gone. He'll be out until gone Christmas.
Agreed.
One less problem to worry about with any kind of squad roster or any kind of registrations. You know, Decky's out for the same length of time. You know that Sonny's on his way out, or he's gone. He's going tonight.
Yep.
Solomon, just real quick, I don't know how long he's out for, but how does that happen where he plays 6 games for us, 7 games for us, breaks down, misses the entire season, goes to Leeds, miraculously is absolutely fine, plays an absolute worldie in their championship-winning team. Leeds beg to sign him. He wants to come back. The second he comes back, he breaks down again. What on God's green earth is going on with our medical team? Another embarrassment. But I don't know how long he's out for, but that's another foreign place that might not necessarily be something we have to worry about. To me, I said this in a video I did earlier, it sometimes in life you have paralysis through analysis. If you've got 5 things to do and they're all important, you end up doing nothing because you can't prioritize which one is the top. At the moment, in the last few days, last few weeks, Tottenham have been linked with and apparently put a 70 million bid in that was apparently accepted for Zabani. Why are we looking for a centre-back? I don't know. Not sure it makes any sense. But if there was truth to it, maybe it's succession planning for next season if Romero leaves and he's not signing a new contract. Unfortunately, the left back market is super dry. Left-sided, left-footed market is very, very dry. It's not perfect, but something that happened today can make you just go, all of our attention has to be in those 3 spots at the top. No ifs, no buts, no, like that 60, 70 million quid that you were going to drop on Mark Gahey. If that same money was going to go on Zabani, reposition that to the top end of the pitch. That 60 million quid you were going to drop on Morgan Gibbs-White, forget about it. On today's performance, Sarr looks like he's up for a little bit more spiciness. Bergwijn put in another good shift. Benson Core looked fairly good. You've got Palhinha. Forget about the 8 role. Forget about another 6 role. Everything has to go at the top end of the pitch. The problem is, even if you just want to be somewhere like where you were with the best Sonny and the best version of Maddison or Decky, to get a competent 10, you're going to need to drop 60 million quid. Whether that's on a Xavi Simons or whatever. If you want to go and get a left winger that's competent as Sonny was at his peak, the only people out there that you're realistically going to get in that world are probably, like, not even realistically, unrealistically, is someone like a Leao, someone like a Rodrigo, dream world stuff, but you have to break the bank. Sonny leaving brings your salary cap down even more, means that there's no excuse not to go after something like that. I think you can kill a couple of birds with one stone if you go and get a Xavi Simons or an Eze. Eze hasn't gone yet. His transfer release fee is still available to be triggered at 68, 70 million, whatever it is. Whatever money we were going to put into Zabani, forget it, put that into Eze, get it done tomorrow. I'm sure he would come if we put in a serious bid and made him a massive part of the project. Give him whatever money he wants because we've got the room to do it. And then you should still have enough money left over to go and get a 9, because if you haven't wasted the 70 million quid, like I say, you can kick, like, obviously it's not ideal. Yes, in an ideal world, you'd be going and getting an Anthony Robinson. Yes, in an ideal world, you'd go and get that left-sided, left-footed centre-back to come and mix it up. But it hasn't worked out that way. James Maddison's out injured. We've now got space in the squad. You can't sell these guys anyway. You can't sell injured players. They will not pass their medical. They're not going to be a part of the first Champions League squad regardless. So just go big, go massive, and go now, because like the line in the sand has been cast. right? The die has been cast. It is what it is. We are screwed at the top end of the pitch, and no more of this faffing around with centre-back options. Drop it all in two players,
Agreed.
1/7/10 or 1/7/9 and an out-and-out 10, 150 million. Thank you very much. No more effing about. There's no excuses.
Fair points.
No, I
Fair points.
completely agree. I mean, Lubo, let me. Sean's right. I'd love a new left back. I'd love a centre back if we're succession planning. But he's right. At the moment, I think we're going to be very good defensively this year. And we've also bought in Palhinha. We'll talk about him in a minute. But we've also bought in Palhinha, which solidifies even more. But all of our focus and energy right now in this next 2 weeks has got to be those forward areas. And if it isn't, something is not right at this football club. If it isn't, then there has to be an inquest between the manager, the chairman, and the director of football, because that is absolute utmost importance, isn't it?
It is. I mean, listen, the chairman's come out and said he wants to win the Premier League and the Champions League. He's got to put his hand in his pocket if he's going to do that. You know, he's got to go out and he's got to buy serious top players. And Spurs can get, the top four have bought most of their, they've done most of their business. So let's have a look at the top players that are there that we can go out and buy.
And there's still loads of them, Lubo.
There are. No, there definitely are.
There's never been a market as wet as it is at the top end of the pitch right now. In most seasons gone by, there's been a significant amount of demand and a significant shortage of supply. That is not the case this year. There is still 6 or 7 top forwards, top nines that are looking for new homes that haven't found them yet. The left wing spot, by the way, is the most oversaturated spot in football because everyone with the right foot who's good at tricky stuff wants to play out there to cut inside. There's hundreds of them.
Right.
Hundreds of them. Like we should be going after. Sorry, Lubo.
Sure, I said a week ago, Rafael Leao, go and get him. He is available.
I don't think he's as great, by the way. I'm just putting it. I think he's a very, very good player. Like Morgan Gibbs White, I think he's a very, very good player. I don't think he's as great as people say he is. I think Leao's got the on his day when he wants to, he's unplayable. But he can also switch off and just not turn up at times. But when he's
very patchy player, very patchy player.
You've got him. Eze would be fantastic. Bring, you're right. Go out, make sure you get Eze. Whatever he needs, bring him in.
Can we talk about Eze then before we move to other players? But this guy's name, I don't think I've ever said a name. I don't even think Leandro Demal's name was mentioned as much as I've heard Eze's name in the last 2 years. Is this that Frank doesn't want him? Is it that he wants Arsenal? Is it that we won't stump up the cash? Where are we at with this, guys? Because it feels like if he was going to come, this should have been done right at the beginning of the window. Get him in, buy the fans kind of praise for the summer. But it hasn't. We haven't talked to his camp, apparently. We haven't. What's going on? Why the fixation with Eze?
Well, I think they went initially. They went for Gibbs White, didn't they? I think that was Frank's choice. He got Kudus. He wanted Kudus and Gibbs White, which I think probably took Eze out of the equation. Gibbs White hasn't joined. You've got to go out and get Eze. You've got to get these top players. And
I think he wants Arsenal, though. I think he definitely wants Arsenal. And I think Arsenal have made a bid tonight, I think 52 mil. I think it's going to be this week that he signs for Arsenal and then all this will stop. I'd love him. He was my number one target, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
All right, if not Eze, there's still about 25 other very viable candidates that immediately improve us.
Sure.
So many. There's so many.
I agree with. I mean, look at that Enzo Milo, who apparently has rejected Atletico tonight. If you actually look at his data and stats throughout the last 3 years, he's actually a very similar player to Gibbs White, by the way, but got better stats. I mean, again, if we want to go down the stats route, but there are players everywhere, right, Kate? Like it's, all right, everyone's talked all summer about Xavi Simons and Eze, but if Arsenal and Chelsea snap them up, then Arsenal and Chelsea snap them up. Who's next on the list, right? What next?
I think as well, because Land apparently likes to do his business under the table, if you like, and keep it behind closed doors. I think we'll get someone signed that we weren't maybe linked to. I think it will be a quick thing. I still think we'll get 2 or 3 to come through the door. I really do. But I don't think it will be someone like an Eze that we've been linked with. It was like Zaha. I remember we was always linked with Wilfried Zaha, and that never happened. And I just think Eze has probably made it clear he wants Arsenal. And it's time for us to move on. As Sean said, there's so many players out there. But I think as a fan base, you kind of get fixated on one because we all watch Eze week in, week out, rather than some of these players that play in other leagues. You think, yeah, he's the one. But there's plenty of other players probably with better stats than Eze. So I just can see it happening, but a little bit more under the radar. Just all of a sudden we're getting rumour we're interested in someone, and then they're signed like we did with Morgan Gibbs-White, who I have to say I was never actually that bothered about signing. He's not one that I was desperate to sign, but we definitely need sort of reinforcements. But I've just got a feeling it'll be under the radar, whoever comes in.
Kate, at this stage, let me ask you and then ask the others. At this stage where we are in the window, does my man Jack Grealish on loan answer more questions than it? Sorry, provide more solutions than it does questions. Like on loan, can play on the left, can play in the 10, seasoned pro, winner, leader, homegrown. On loan, isn't that right now an absolute no-brainer for where we are?
It is, but I was watching LB yesterday and he was saying that Jack Grealish has made it clear that he wants to remain at City and fight for his place. So again, how do you get these players out if they do not want to leave their club or they only want to go to so-and-so? What can we do? Maybe we won the Europa League, but maybe actually we're not that appealing because we finished 17th. Maybe these players are coming in with big reservations that, this is a project at the end of the day. No matter what people think, Ange left us in chaos and Frank's got to come in and pick up the pieces. And it isn't going to happen overnight. It's going to take a little while to get everybody in that he wants in. So he's another one. I think he would be a good signing for us on loan. Another one I don't see happening, I'm afraid.
I mean, Grealish, the thing is he's a player that I'd take at Spurs all day long. Yeah, I think a very good player. But if we're talking about that we need someone up there who's also going to score goals, Grealish ain't the man you go for. It depends what you want to do with a player. It depends how you want that team to play. Now, Grealish is someone who I'd love to hold up the ball and then get a decent ball in there to the centre for whoever's wide to tap it on or whoever's in the middle to get it in and give us that sort of option. But if we're also looking at the point where there is just a lack of scoring ability up front, where Johnson can only score a tap in basically bar once in a blue moon, and that's all he bloody does on the pitch. Solanke hasn't proved anything that he's anything special bar one season his entire life, but he can get a goal here and there. So isn't that saying that we almost need the person on the left to be able to do the job as well? Because we can't rely on the striker to get us 20, 25 goals because he's just not good enough for that. We can't rely on the right to go and get 20 goals because he's not going to do it. And, well, Johnson pulled it off. But so we need those goals to sort of come across from the whole line as such. Grealish wouldn't be a man to do that. But he'd be a player that I would accept.
Would you go and get
I'm just talking about Grealish.
Would you get Vlahovic from Juventus?
No. At this moment in time, yes.
No,
but I don't think it happened with his wages. He's better than Solanke.
Solanke and Richarlison, yeah, all day.
But, yeah, 100%. But do we need a player that can score 20? Because the year that we've gone through a phase whereby a lot of the good teams purely just need the front four to chip in 12 to 14 goals each, and that propels teams to that title challenge, if you wanna call it. The year that Arsenal challenged them, nearly won it, and where I think they were top for like 243 days or something like that. They didn't have a player that scored 20 goals. Like Saka, I think, was their highest player, and he was, I think, 15 plus goals. But they had Martinelli chipping in with 12 or 13. They had, what's his name? Did they have Havertz at the time? They had quite a few of them chipping in a lot of, in between that 10 to 15 goals.
That's what I'm basically saying, Manny. You'd need the line to do it.
We just lost one of them in Maddison for the next 6 months. We had that last season, right? We had lots of people that were chipping in last season, but Maddison was one of them, and he's gone. Sonny was another, and he's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know where the balloons are coming up. The Puma's in the house. The Puma's in there.
Her Sonny.
I feel like we need to think outside the box. Like I think that Oyen Sansei, whatever you call it, for the guy from Bilbao, he's a baller, right? Absolute baller. You could go to Atalanta, and if they wanted to keep hold of Lookman or to make that one difficult, if you can't go and get him, I'd take De Catalier. I think he's absolutely sensational.
I've been saying that for ages, mate.
He's a sensational player. You could go and get Pedro Gonçalves from Sporting.
Striker and attacking midfielder with him as well.
I would love Pedro Gonçalves. That is a GA machine. That guy.
He's an unbelievable player, and he can play anywhere. He can play in the 10, off the left or off the right. You go and get Nicolas Gonzalez from Juve. If Juve are desperate to sell, if they can't shift someone else in before they bring in, obviously, a player that we've been looking at, Kolo Muani, test the waters for Gonzalez, get the Paratici Don going out. I don't know if you guys fancy a bit older now, but Dovbyk from Roma. He bangs in goals left and right and centre. There's so many players out there that are not going to break, like they'll cost you 50, 60 million quid. But right now, it's what you need.
Especially in Italy is where you need to go. They are shot for money. And people still argue this. If you go and look at Italy's transfer window, I haven't checked it for about 4 days, but there's been a lot of movement there. But if you actually look at the movement up there, there's only 3, maybe 4 teams that have spent over 30, 40 million. When you actually look at the revenue that's come into the clubs, most of them haven't even actually bloody spent money. I think it's only the top 8 that have spent money and haven't had the income. There's only about 3 or 4 teams that have spent over 40 million. In Italy at the moment, the revenue is not easy. It is tight up there, and they seem to need the money up there. Now, I'm not saying every team in Italy, but if you go and check it, there's only about 3 or 4 that have actually spent over 30, 40 million. The others have had to all do it. The others have all had to do it through income, basically, then by someone. But a lot of them have actually had more income than what they've actually spent because they just can't.
Oh yeah, Italy's.
But even on Lookman that you just mentioned, Sean, is you're spot on in the sense of
the biggest spender. Sorry, man, the biggest spender is what's its name? That small team. I can't remember the bloody name now. It's actually a bloody small team. That's the ones. They're the only ones who've actually gone and spent serious money. Milan, Juventus, Inter have had about 30 players come in, and they've only spent like 30, 40 mil, whatever, until I last checked it. It's actually just one of the smallest teams out there that slammed down nearly 100 million and had about a 20 million revenue coming. Sorry, man, just point I wanted to make.
No, all good. Yeah, no, the point I was making is that even on Lookman, Atalanta don't want him. He's fallen out with Gasperini last season, and he had fallen out with him the season before. He's made it clear he wants to leave. Inter have bid for him, but they've bid 40 million euros for him, and that's all it is, a bit of money, and he is gone. You know what I mean? No one has gone in for him from the Premier League anyway. That would be
he'd be my number one choice as a left winger anyway. Like whenever I use the Y Scout and I get creative and start dialing up the filters of what I perceive to be a left winger that I would like at Tottenham. Obviously, everyone's got their own flavour. There's 3 names that always pop up, and those 3 are Anthony Gordon, Garnacho, and Ademola Lookman. And Lookman's by far the standout in the last 365 days.
Lookman. I love him. By all accounts, everything you're reading is that he is forcing his move to Inter. Right? He wants to go. I get it. Right? It's Inter Milan, but it goes to show there are players everywhere. This is what frustrates the life out of me about Spurs in a transfer window.
Would you take Ivan Toney, Sav?
All day, all day, mate. I don't rate our strikers in any way, shape, or form. I do not rate our strikers. I do not rate our wingers other than Kudus. And we've got no playmakers. So this is why there's so many players that I'm seeing people in the chat go, I wouldn't want him. I'm looking at our squad going,
The only thing about Dusan Vlahovic is I think the brand of the name massively supersedes the level of the player. When he was at Fiorentina, he was an absolute baller, playing in that very specific, very cool system that they were playing at the time. He went for big money to Juve. I think he scored 80 goals in 5 years or 4 years, 40 goals in. It's basically like 0.32 GA or goals per game, basically. So like a goal every 3 games, which isn't particularly sensational for a striker. And I'm not entirely sure if he's a bit, isn't he not a little bit similar to what we already have in like he's a big lump, big strong guy. Don't we want something a little bit more? Sam, I think you were saying it before, right? A little bit like Jermaine Defoe-esque, that guy that's got a short back lift and just
I'll be honest, I'm greedy, Sean. I'd want him and the Jermaine Defoe type. I really don't rate them. Sorry. I've got bored of watching these average players for the last 3, 4, 5 years now. I've got really bored of it. I'm probably not as patient as other people when I'm being told someone's young, and I don't care. We're Tottenham Hotspur. I don't care how old they are. If they're bought for the first team, I'm judging them for the first team. You know what I mean? Like when I judge Odegaard and Tell, and I'm told, I'll be patient. Cool.
Yeah,
if I want patience, bring players in front of them, let those players learn and grow. I'll have patience with them. If they're in my first 11, they're in my first 11. But can I ask, let me throw a name out to the chat. And by the way, everyone who's saying to me, talk about Palhinha, we will. We guys, we know. Don't get me wrong. No one on this panel is sitting here not realizing that we've just signed Palhinha. We've got it. Couple of names that keep getting thrown out there. I mean, Wissa is definitely one in that kind of Jermaine Defoe-esque type mold in terms of quick, runs in behind, scores goals, knows Thomas Frank. And Mikotadze, again, that name gets thrown about all the time. Where are we at with those two types of players, guys?
We need 4 forwards to replace
four more forwards.
I think we need 4 forwards. I would keep Odegaard. I don't think Solanke, if we want to get to where Frank wants us to get to, then ultimately, I'm not saying it's going to happen this window, obviously, but over the next year or so, I'd get rid of Tell. I think that has just been a disaster. Odegaard I'd keep. I think there's definite potential there. Solanke I'd get rid of. Richie I'd get rid of. Johnson I'd keep. Johnson puts the ball in the back of the net, and whatever you say about him, you keep him in the squad. He's scoring goals. Gill you get rid of. I think with his injuries, Solomon you get rid of. There's plenty, and we need players. So for me, 3, 4 strikers, or forwards, whether it's wingers, centre forwards.
It's going to cost you a lot of money.
We need to start that because we are poor up front. We really are, and we haven't got people coming through at the moment. Lancashire's the only, I say, youngster that's coming through. Is he good enough?
So what about the question I asked with Wissa and Mikotadze?
Well, you bring him in. The problem is that we've always asked for too much money when selling players. So it's always been impossible to sell players.
I think this is a quality player.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to say, what do we care? It's not our money. But I just think 50 million quid for a 30-year-old is insane. And whilst I know it's not our money, the reality is that there's an opportunity cost there. If you drop 50 million quid on him, that's 50 million quid you can't drop somewhere else, which goes back to the reason why I was saying about Zabanya. There's no point in getting a defender right now. We need that money elsewhere. But I just think that Wissa's a great player. At 25, 30 million quid, yep, all day long. Thank you very much. But at 50,
you wouldn't pay 40 million for him. You wouldn't pay 40 million for a guy that's just scored 19 Premier League goals and has been getting better year on year with the coach that we've just bought in.
Well, how many did he score the year before?
I don't know. All I know is he's gone up. All the 4 years he's been at Brentford, I know he's got better and better and better with the coach that we've just signed. 40 million for a guy who's just got 19 goals. We paid 60 million the year before for Dominic Solanke, who got that many.
I think it's too much for a 30-year-old personally. But
I didn't even realize it, by the way.
28. It's not 30.
He's 29. He's about to turn 30.
29.
Oh, 28. Sorry, 28. About to turn 29. Sorry, my bad. 29. Yeah, he's about to turn 29.
Get 3 years out of him.
I
just want to see what he did the year before and the year before, because we might be guilty of doing the Solanke thing.
Sure, but the thing is, he's getting better year on year. Solanke never did. Hey, Solanke was just poor. Boom. For me, I think that was a freak season with Solanke. For me, that's only my opinion. But so you know, I never wanted him. You know, I never was. The moment we were linked with him, I was so pissed off. I thought we're going to get him.
In the 23-24 season, he scored 12 in the Prem. In the 22-23 season, he scored... Hurry up, internet. What are we doing there? It's coming.
My man, Flawless. Big up, Flawless.
He scored 7 goals. So 7, then 12, then 19. I mean, you can still make the argument that 7 and 12 isn't, and the year before that he scored 7 as well.
Yeah, but maybe he's getting better every year. I'd take him in a heartbeat, and I think we get him for 40 million. If we put in 40 million, I think we get him, and I would take him all day long.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You play him as a striker.
I'm not saying I don't love him.
Kate,
I
I
think
think what
he's
will
a
happen
quality
is
player.
Newcastle will probably take him at 40 million. He'll grab goals. We'll see him scoring goals, and then we'll turn around and be like, I wish we had a player like that.
Yeah,
I don't think
he is going to
Just to be
Newcastle. by the
entirely
way,
clear, I'm not making the argument that we shouldn't get him. I'm just saying that there's an opportunity
I know.
cost. That's what I'm saying.
I know. At some point, though, we've got to put that to the side for a year, haven't we? We've got to think about the now.
I don't care if we it doesn't bother me if we overspend on a player. As long as that player is right for the club and he's going to take the club forward.
You're never going to know that until after the fact, are you? But when we were
You're not. No, you're not.
When we were linked with Matisse Tell, Lubo, when we were linked with Matisse Tell on January the 27th and January 26th, and then we thought he was going to Manchester United, there was meltdown. Then he turned up to Tottenham on loan, and everyone was like, yes, got one over. And then over the next 4 months, everyone decided that he was shit. And then the idea of signing him was a shit show. Had we signed him on the day in January the 28th for 60 million quid or whatever the initial thing was, people would have been delighted and then changed their mind. So the same thing can happen with Vissa, just like it could have done with Solanke, just like it could have done with anyone else. The only exception to that rule is Richarlison. Anybody that wanted that bozo at the time doesn't know ball, in my opinion, because he's an absolute horrific and horrendous footballer.
The thing is with Vissa, he can play left wing, right wing, number 10, forward, so he can cover if there's injuries as well. I just think it's a no-brainer. I don't know how we haven't gone in and got this guy already.
Absolutely.
But Kate, can I ask you, don't you think the big factor, and by the way, this is just, listen, again, this isn't the be-all and end-all. This is just on Data MB, just having a look at their seasons last year compared. For me, Kate, the big factor in all of this with a player like Wissa is it's not unknown because it's Thomas Frank that's getting him. Thomas Frank's the guy that's coached him over the last 3-4 years, right? Mm-hmm. It just feels to me that he's that different profile. He's quick. You see, he gets a lot of touches in the opposition penalty box. He scores a lot of different types of goals. Listen, I'm not saying he's my number one choice, but right now I'm looking at this window going, we've got 2 or 3 weeks to rescue this because we can't go into this season with these forwards. This is going to be a long season if this is our group of forwards and wingers. I promise you, this is going to be a long season. So that's a no-brainer for me, guys. No-brainer.
Yeah, 100%. He's good at dribbling. He's good off the ball. I mean, he's in my top 2 or 3 choices without any shadow of a doubt. I will be ecstatic if we sign this guy. I think.
Do you think he would come to Tottenham above Newcastle, Kate?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Who wants to live in Newcastle, surely? Come on. When you go to the bright lights of...
it's a great night out, though. Hey, I've had some great nights out in Newcastle. Can't lie. But look, listen, he wouldn't need to move house. It's the manager that he's just worked with. Listen,
but Savva, I don't think
these deals should be easy, right? Not easy, you know what I mean? Like these deals should be the deals that we don't need to see played out for 3.5 weeks. It should be how much you want? You want 40 million? Cool. I'll tell you what, is 40 million. Why don't you take one of ours on loan for the season?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Why don't you take, I don't know, why don't you take Archie Gray on loan for a season? Why don't you take someone on loan for the season and soften the blow for you losing all these players? Just, I want to see a bit of, I don't know, a bit of wheeler dealing. Do you know what I mean? A little bit of, football manager. What can we do? What can,
But Savva, the question really is from my side, right? The question I have is this club between now being the 3rd of August and the end of August, where or start of September, where the transfer shuts, is this club going to pay? So say Wissa at the moment they're quoting 45 to 50 million. Is the club going to pay 45 to 50 million for a striker, other 50 to 60 for a winger, and another 50 to 60 for a 10? I don't see it. That's what I don't see.
Money they've got to. But money they've got to.
They've spent.
Look at Man United.
Sorry?
Look at Man United, right?
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree with you in that sense.
No, we're not. I know we're not them. But this is a club who aren't in Europe, have just lost that Europa League final and have dropped 65 million, if I'm not wrong, on Mbuemo, 65 million on Cunha, and are now bidding 75 million for Sesko without any proper players having moved on. Right?
Yep.
I'm sorry. If Man United can do that sort of money, yeah, we should be able to do that sort of money with the revenue we make and with the Champions League that we've got coming up, having won a trophy. There should be zero excuses for us not being able to do that.
No, 100%. But that's the same. I could literally go all the way back to when we moved from White Hart Lane to to Wembley, and we locked our interest payments on the loan that we got for the stadium that we were building at 2%, and our revenue, because we moved from a 36,000 seater to an 80,000 seater at Wembley, our revenue skyrocketed. We didn't do it. This club, this summer has started by showing a little bit more ambition than I'm used to, by signing Kudus and then bidding for Morgan Gibbs-White. And that obviously that fell through for whatever reason. I think we've got 2 players tops coming in to the quality that we want it. And I don't think Wissa is where we will be deploying that money. I genuinely don't think it. Regardless of how I want the club to be, I don't see it. So if I had the choice based on what I have a feeling for what we would bring in, I would rather bring in a left winger and a 10 of top quality than bring in Wissa into the club. And maybe I suppose people could argue that Wissa could play as a striker and play as a winger when we need it. But I would rather an out and out touchline winger that can literally create space as much as they could. That's obviously just my opinion.
My only answer to that, it should be all 3. I'm sick of us doing this. I'm sick of us doing this or that. Most clubs see the gaps in their squad and go and fill them. With us, it feels like we see the gaps and we go, well, let's fill 2 of them and we'll kick the can down the road. Let's be fair. DM was a massive issue for us. We've gone and solved that with a 5 million loan fee, right? So we've got no excuses. We've solved the right wing with 55 million quid. We've solved the DM for 5 million quid, right? There should be money to go and buy 3 more first team footballers in a Champions League season. This shouldn't be a debate after 25 years of ownership and a Champions League campaign coming up. I'm not blaming you, Manny, by the way.
No.
I know what you would do.
They should.
This shouldn't be a debate in 2025 , should it?
But it is, Sav, because we've got these owners. And that's the problem.
Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Why is it still going on? It's still going on. 25 years. It's still this load of shit that we get from these owners. It'd be very interesting to hear what Levy has to say about his 25 years when that interview with Gary Neville comes out.
And whatever he says, you'll find the problem with it.
He's conned us for 25 years. About time he pulled his finger out and started acting like a proper chairman for this football club and not for his own pocket. There you go.
He's still got 3.5 weeks. He's still got 3.5 weeks, Lubo.
Yes. Let's see what happens.
At the beginning of the show, you told me, don't worry, there's still time. And then as soon as I reached the
this will be it, right?
They've got to start acting.
It's well done, Vinay, for taking over the reins. If we don't,
whether it's Lewis in charge or Levy pulling the strings, ENIC have got to put their money where their mouth is now, and they've got to start acting like a proper football club.
I have to agree. I have to agree on like this season with the way we're going. This is his chance. This is his chance. I'm sorry to say. Obviously, I'm neither here nor there on different topics with regards to this, but this is his chance. As you said, Maddison is now injured. Kulu is nowhere near getting ready. You've brought in a new manager because you felt that the last manager couldn't compete on multiple fronts. Well, I'm sorry to say, this is your chance to prove that you back this manager to challenge on multiple fronts. And this is it. And we'll see. We haven't got long to go, to be fair.
Sean, you can't be happy with the transfer window this summer so far, can you?
It's only halfway through there, mate.
Well, we're more than halfway through.
Okay. But it's not finished yet, is it?
No, it's not finished yet. I think we're 7 weeks out of 11.
If it's September the 1st and it's as it is now, 100%, I'll be apoplectic. 100%. 100%. But, I've seen a lot of, this isn't my first rodeo, and I've seen a hell of a lot of people that lose their shit over windows that are not closed. And then by the end of it, we're doing okay. I remember January 2022, I think it was, or January 2023. I remember being on, and this is no slight on him, because I love him to pieces, Brian Daigle. I remember being on Irish Hotspur with myself, Irish, the Irish fella Matt something, who's on Twitter a lot, I forget his name, and Jack and Brian, and Brian was getting really excited because on February the 1st he was doing an all-day standing in the freezing cold, and fair play to him, he did it anyway. Protest outside the training ground against Daniel Levy, and then on deadline day, Bentancur and Kulusevski got signed and the 5 of the 6 of us, 5 of us were going, yes, quality player, back, like all this stuff. Brian couldn't hide his disappointment because he thought his protest was split. You know,
I'll come on here, Sean. If we buy 9, 10, and 11,
rather wait until the dust settles and see where we're at.
If we buy 9, 10, and 11, I'll come on here and I'll say how delighted I am in 4 weeks' time that Levy and Lewis have pulled their finger out.
Will you say Levy in?
No, I'll never say Levy in.
You just did.
One transfer window.
One little sentence.
Yeah. One transfer window.
The thing is,
doesn't make up for 25 years.
Yeah, look, I don't want to get into this 25-year debate, but let's. The thing is, Dan, Kate, you guys have been pretty quiet on the top there. We don't even have to spend a bag loads of money. There are surely loan deals to be had. There are surely, like when we look at players like Mikatadze, it's going to be what, 30, 40 million euros. We're not. No one's asking the club to go.
I'd pay 50 million for him.
But this is my point. No one's asking Spurs to go and sign 5 players at 70 million each.
Yeah.
Isn't this the problem for me, Kate? That we don't seem to just have enough. I don't know. We don't seem to have. We're not on the ball. We're not on the ball when it comes to good loans. We're not on the ball when it comes to 30, 40 million pound players. But we are on the ball when it comes to buying young players who have done nothing for 30, 40 million pounds. That's what frustrates the life out of me.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Sean on this, though. If we're sitting on the 1st of September still having this conversation, but I still believe that we're going to bring in 2 or 3 good players. I really, truly do. Maybe
How good? What level are we talking, Kate? How good?
Levels where they're going straight into the first team and make us better.
Okay.
Like Palhinha, for instance.
Right, like Palhinha and Kudus, that level, yeah?
Yeah, that level,
Okay.
yeah. I think,
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of talk on Twitter about Harvey Elliott against Day. I don't know how true that is.
He's underwhelming to me. I don't know why. I think he's a very good player.
Our team.
He's a very, very, very good player. I've got no issue with him. I worry he's a little bit lightweight. And I just think he's a bit of a donut. But as a player, he's sensational. But there's something about the signing just that doesn't fill me with monster vibes. I'm honest.
Sean, let's be fair, you're a donut, but you're still a decent YouTuber. Come on, there's nothing wrong with being a donut.
I'm definitely a donut, 100%. I don't know about the decent YouTuber, but donut, 100%.
Who are you talking about then? Which striker? Sorry, I'm
Harvey Elliott.
Harvey Elliott. There's something about him. You know who I would get. I'd probably go and have to take myself into a quiet place and have some alone time. Lucas Paqueta for me. If there's something about him that I think would be like, you could make the argument that Harvey Elliott will probably mature into a better player than Paqueta, but for me, there's something about Paqueta that I just think is spicy. I think he's spicy. I think he adds a little bit of like that thing to our midfield, and he's got that magic dust as well. When the way he can turn on a sixpence, the way he can thread that pass. There's something about him where you can play him into that. He can drift into the 10 as well. He drifts into these spaces, and he's very difficult to pick up. And I don't know what West Ham. The added bonus would be the meltdown of the West Ham fan base if we took 2 of their best in one summer. But I would phone up whoever it is. Is it Trip Smith who's in charge over there now, or Trikinski or Sullivan? Whoever it is who's pulling the shots. I'd phone them up tonight and say, Bissouma and 35 million quid, and I'll take Paqueta off your hands.
I can see that.
Will Bissouma look to go there though?
Bissouma said he doesn't want to. Well, apparently he didn't say this, but apparently the rumours are he wouldn't leave the Premier League, but he'd be okay leaving Tottenham if he stayed in the Premier League.
Really?
Well, he'd get a year in the Premier League. So West Ham probably go down this season, so he'd get a year there anyway.
you're gonna have Daniela coming on in a minute.
Yeah,
what I was hearing was that Bissouma wanted to go is eyeing and move to Turkey, and that would make more sense to me considering the fact obviously he has won the Europa League with us, putting himself into a Champions League position or within a Champions League club. He would rather go probably to play for another Champions League team in Turkey like Galatasaray than fall down the and we have to say based on the last few seasons fall down the pecking order and go down to West Ham. But obviously if that was viable, cool. I mean, Paqueta doesn't.
Or Brentford use Bissouma either way, right? Again, Savva was saying that Bissou doesn't have to move home. Bissouma doesn't have to move home. He doesn't have to get a new balloon dealer. He hasn't got to do any of those things. He can still keep all of that stuff, right? He's still got his number on dial, and he can either go.
Got a balloon guy.
I haven't got a balloon guy.
Have you got a balloon guy?
Maybe I do actually. Let's find out.
There you go. I know. There you go. Look, he's got all the balloons. All the balloons. Dan, let me ask you some names that are flying about, which shows that there's so many out there. The likes of Elliott, the likes of Paqueta. You've got the likes of McAtee at Man City that a few players are looking at him. You've got Jacob Ramsey of Aston Villa. There's people like Milo. I never know. Is it Milo of Stuttgart. There's players everywhere. Like surely we can be doing better than sitting here on the 3rd of August going shit. We've got a game. We play PSG in 10 days. We play PSG in the Super Cup in 10 days without a playmaker in sight, without a decent left winger in sight. Solanke's injured. Like it's not the greatest preparation, is it, guys? Sorry, I was to Dan, but I know he's having a chat. It's not the greatest preparation.
Again, this is the problem, right? If people like 100%, you've got like the season starts, and obviously the PSG game is even before that, before the window closes. And so therefore, in people's minds, everything has to be done before that happens. And so in reality, like if you don't like, even though you've still got 2 weeks or whatever until after the PSG game to get things done, which by the way, like I reckon probably 20% of the entire window takes place in the last 7 days because of just the kind of Mexican standoff. In January, it's about 70% that happens in the last 3 days because of the Mexican standoff. But because the first competitive game is in 10 days' time, therefore, people think that everything has to be done beforehand. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. Some of the time, you have to shake hands with the reality that the economics of and just the kind of politics of trading is what it is. I would love it if Tottenham could get one more player in, either being the 10 or a left winger or a striker between now and PSG, and hopefully the next few days to give them enough time to acclimate to our system. But to expect that we get our entire squad finished by PSG is wishful thinking.
Sure, but other clubs seem to be able to do it. Like I don't know why it's always us that can't expect it. I mean,
because
Chelsea
Savva,
this
they
week.
know that if they do it, you'll have nothing to talk about. That's what it is. They do it
They're doing it for us. They're doing it for us. Okay, good. Thanks, Spurs.
No, they were so selfish because we didn't even get a chance to digest Kudus. Now they should spread these signings out like one every 10 days. True. So that we get a chance to talk about it, to then expect.
Sean, look how selfish they've been today, right? Today, we've got Sonny definitely going, a game against Newcastle, and Palhinha definitely signing. I mean, can't they spread that out a little bit?
And Maddison injured as well. And Maddison injured,
Look, guys, let's move on. By the way, Dan's had to drop off for a little bit. Guys, girls, Palhinha is now a Spurs player, at least for 12 months. A €25 million buy option at the end of the first year. Sensible signing, right? For me, anyone not happy with this? Everyone happy with this? Where does this rank? How happy are we with this deal?
Very happy. Exactly what we need. Exactly.
Well done, Levy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go on. Let me hear it.
Yeah, was this Levy or Vinay? Who brokered this deal?
What are you doing, Kate? Have you got together with Sean before the show and said, well, come on, let's have a pop here?
Everyone in the chat, just put in Levy or Vinay. Who are we giving credit to for doing the Palhinha loan? Levy or Vinay? There's no other option. Levy or Vinay? Who are you going with?
Well, it could have been
Lubo, as you were saying, great deal.
listen, it's a Frank Lang, Vinay,
Frank Lang and Vinay.
collaboration. Absolutely.
This is shameless.
Lubo, the people who have spoken. The people who have spoken. You have to tip your hat and give credit where it's due.
So,
you are very quick to criticise. Please give the credit where it's due to the man who deserves it.
Sean, Daniel Levy thinks Giorgio Armani plays for Juventus. Come on. Who do you think has sorted it?
He's got brilliant GA, Armani. Brilliant GA. Brilliant GA.
Come on, Lubo. Fair's fair, mate. Fair's fair. Come on. Let's hear it.
Like, come on,
Listen,
Lubo.
It's perfect deal for Levy. It's a perfect deal for Levy. It's cost him a £5 million loan.
How have you put a negative spin on that?
Which I doubt it. But he probably thought, you know what? I'm going to sign it off. It's $5 million.
You can't. This, unfortunately, mate, is where again, no one needs to expose you. You expose yourself. Like the agenda has to agenda. And unfortunately, if you can't bring yourself to say well done when the man does well, then no one can take you seriously when you criticise when the man does badly. You have to be balanced. You have to be balanced.
I don't believe it was his choice, Sean, at all. I don't believe it was his choice at all.
Okay.
I think Frank Lang and Vinay Frank and Lang have looked at
it. But by your argument, didn't he employ the people that made those decisions then?
Well, yes, I can give him credit for that. I can give him credit for that.
I'll take it.
Pretzel.
I have to say, obviously, from my side, I think on the Palhinha situation, I think it's very, very smart. We have to give credit where credit is due, because if you look at all the, and if things were to be believed about, getting investment and money coming in and whatnot, etc. A quality player, a young quality player in a six at the moment in the current market will command literally about in the region of 80 to 100 million pounds. Like you're talking about Wharton from Palace, you're talking about Baleba from Brighton. Those will cost you an arm and a leg, and they are not leaving their current clubs as it is. So if you look at from that side and think, okay, right, so we've gone in and got Palhinha on loan. He hasn't played for a year. However, we give him that year to see whether he will adapt and whether Frank will like him in our team, considering the fact that he was outstanding in terms for what he did. He was outstanding when he was at Fulham. That gives us a year to suss it out. And if it's not what we want, then we can go for what we want in a year's time. So I think it's shrewd, it's smart, and it's coming right before we've gone into any competitive games, any real competitive games. So yeah, you have to give credit where credit is due.
No, listen.
Kate.
Sorry, ghosted LDN 925. Sean, do you remember I called you YouTube's version of Alistair Campbell? Do you remember?
Yeah.
And ghosted LDN has said, I like how Sean spins it and asked us to thank a chairman that brought the DM we've needed for 2 seasons. How would you answer that, Sean?
No. I listen. If you're going to, I do spin a lot. They call me the Shane Warne of
YouTube
as well. A lot of wrist action.
Yeah, I've heard Sean be called a lot worse than Shane Warne, if I'm brutally honest. And that's just in my house. So I mean, I don't know what they call about there on the internet.
100%. I think that the gap in the six has been massive. It's been absolutely monumental. I always joke and say, I've been asking for a monster six, a monster six, a six, a six, a six. I've been asking for it as long as the Bible has, right? 2,000 years. And I think we've got it in Palhinha. And I think that Manny's point there around succession planning is probably appropriate. I think that the deal itself is a beautiful one, because the loan deal allows us essentially to see what level he's at. I would be very surprised if Tottenham were to drop 25 million quid on a 31-year-old next year, or however, I think he's going to be 31 next season. So what you hope is that, absent any other complete catastrophes, Tottenham can carry on with their plans this summer, and then over the next 12 months have identified whoever it is, whether it's Baleba, whether it's somebody else that emerges, whether it's Hugo Larsson, whether it's whatever, yada, 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 Morten Hjulmand.
Archie Gray.
And then we can get that, or maybe Archie Gray will emerge. Who knows? And I thought Archie Gray, by the way, Lubo, to your credit, mate, you stuck by your boy. I thought he was very, very good today. Really, really good. And I would love to have spoken about that on the video, but unfortunately I went apoplectic at the the situation our forward line finds it in. But to get back to that particular comment, it's a fair point. I have been demanding that we do it, and we haven't filled it for 2 years. So yeah, in essence, about bloody time.
To be fair, Ange didn't want that type of player, did he? For 2 years. Let's be fair.
Right. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Maybe
Yeah.
Levy. I heard.
You can be my spinstress anytime you like, there, Kate. Okay.
I heard, Lubo, that Daniel Levy's been trying to get this guy for ages, but Ange just kept saying, no, mate. So my full credit goes to Daniel Levy on this one, I'm afraid, Lubo.
Yeah.
Well, look, let me do some quick super chats. By the way, guys and girls, there's 1,200 of you in here, which is amazing. But the likes are absolutely, honestly, the likes at the moment are like Spurs attackers conversion rates. We have got 390 likes with 1,200 inside, which is utterly appalling. Can we please get that to 600-700 immediately? Immediately, please. Please subscribe as well to the Spurs Talk Show. Please subscribe to Kate and Jimbo, The Perfect Match. And please subscribe to the Spurs 5. And if you want to subscribe to this little character here as well, that's me, please do. As we've now just gone past 20,500 in the space of 5 days. So thank you very much for all your support. Big up to Marios, who became a YouTube member. Big up, Marios. All your hate for kudos, by the way, is just way too much. But big up to you, Marios. I'll see you on the next members only show, my man. Big up to Emma Morton, always in here with the super stickers. Big up to you, Emma. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Green 8783, who's been a member for 14 months, says, I don't think I've ever seen us so bereft of creativity in a long time. We desperately need some creativity in our team squad ASAP. Well, look, I don't think it's helped Frank that he hasn't had Kulu, Maddison or Solanke basically for all of pre-season, but you are 100% right. We've got to go and buy some. That if we don't, it's utter negligence. It's utter negligence, as I don't think we're going to see Maddison or Kulu until about November, from what I'm looking at both of their injuries. It's going to be it's a lot of games, August, September, October, and it's a lot of games to get through. Big up to you, Green. Big up to Tony, who has said, go get Ferran Torres from Barcelona. He's a baller, and Barca need the money. I've always been a bit hit and miss on Ferran Torres. Seems to grab a few goals, but I'm never sure I enjoy watching him play. But I'll ask the panel about him in a minute. It's a name that never really comes up, so thank you for sharing that with us. Ian JD said, we are now going to find out how serious Levy is. Well, Sean's chairman. Let's see how serious he is. Oh no, apologies. It's not Sean's chairman doing these signings. So we're about to see how Lubo's CEO, how serious is Lubo's CEO, Vinay Venkatesham. Big up to you, Ian. Much love, my man. Tony's come back in. Again, pushing the Ferran Torres point. We should go for Ferran Torres from Barcelona. Can play all over the front line. That is the beauty of a player like Ferran Torres. He can play in multiple positions. Yeah, interesting one, an interesting option. Big up to Marcus Patterson, very generous, said replace Madders and sign Georgi Sudakov in the 10, a player that a lot of people talk about from Shakhtar. Good player. Again, I'd love to see that profile of footballer come into the club. Thank you very much, Marcus. Here he is, DJ General Tracks, aka David House's nephew. Big up to you, Craig Scott. Hope you're well. Give your best to David House and ask him when he's going to jump on the show. Only if he's got real honesty, though. I don't want like if you got like a Ledley King or Dawson. I'm sure they'd be lovely, but I don't feel like they'd say the truth for obvious reasons. Big up
for the club, yeah.
Exactly. What's going on? Oh, it's brilliant. It's all amazing. Everyone's really happy.
Exactly.
And blah, 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 blah. Big up to you. And Chop Cheese, the 30th Chop Cheese, has said, I think we will sign a left winger and a striker, but play Kudus at 10. Chop Cheese, I'll be honest, I'll be really disappointed if we've bought the first proper winger we've had for years and then we stick him in the number 10. I'll be gutted. But possibly could happen, Chop Cheese. So thank you very much for that. Guys and girls, Palhinha, I think the fact that it's on a loan, right, it's good for both parties. It gives us a chance to see, is he still the Palhinha that was at Fulham, who was an absolute beast? It gives him a chance to see, are we serious? I mean, I'm guessing he's going to want to know if we're serious. And it gives us an option at the end to buy him for 25 million euros. So good deal all round, right?
Excellent.
Yeah, perfect deal. There's nothing to complain about in that one. I hope he lives up to the Fulham version of him. And
all day messaging me the same thing. All day. Sorry, all day in my YouTube comments. Talk about Gray. I thought Gray played well today. But I don't know what you want me to say. Are you doing this where somebody has a good game for the first time in midfield, and all of a sudden now I've seen it. People are making videos as to his breakthrough game and what he brings. Can we just stop doing that? Can we just let him grow? And anyway,
absolutely. You know what? He's got a good coach. He's got a great coach behind him now. Let's see. Hopefully today was the start.
So can we talk for a second about Joe Linton? He's a bit of a donut, isn't he?
Another one.
He's a bully.
He's a proper donut. This guy, he's elbowed in the face.
Yeah.
Gray today, Bergvall in the home game in the league. He did it to two other young players in their pre-season. I think he did it to. Did he do it to Downman? Was it, or he did it to someone else in the Newcastle Arsenal game? And he did it somewhere else as well earlier on this season. The guy's he's a monster of a human being. He doesn't need to be a dickhead as well.
I thought they weren't. They're quite aggressive, Newcastle.
He never gets called out for it though. He gets away with it every time. It's like the referees never give him a yellow card. I'd love him in my team. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a brilliant player, and I'd love him in my team. But I think the guy's an absolute donut. Just wanted to say it officially.
We were doing it earlier, weren't we? And I said he should have got a red for that. If that had been a Premier League game, VAR would have pulled him up. He'd have had a red, no question.
Just quickly going back to the Palhinha thing, Sean. Somebody's just sent me this and said that only Moises Caicedo, 305, Idrissa Gueye, 303, have made more tackles than João Palhinha, 300, in the Premier League since the start of the 22-23 season. By the way, Palhinha left for Bayern last summer. So this guy has that many tackles and played a season left. It's going to make us defensively solid, isn't it? We're already seeing that our back four looks amazing compared to last year. And this guy's just going to solidify that.
I don't think you need him in every game. I think there's certain games. I think away from home in the Champions League for sure. Most Champions League games for sure. Away from home against Newcastle, like the Big Five, Big Six, whatever. You definitely put him in. But against, I'm not even sure if you necessarily need to start him on the home game against Burnley, because I think that's a game where you can afford to have a double pivot that both, approach the game with a more offensive mindset. I just think it gives you that option, and it frees up Porro and Udogie to go forward, knowing that they can sit, but if they do get caught out, you've got a guy that can sniff out the threat and then just give it back to Bentancur. I think Bentancur, if he stays, I think Bentancur will thrive playing in the 8, knowing that he's got Palhinha behind him. Just he can just sit there and thread the pass. I think Bergvall's going to thrive. I think everybody. I genuinely think he's like he's the biggest needle. I don't think you're going to get a bigger needle mover in Tottenham's transfer window in terms of what he offers. Just keeping things simple, just win it and give it, win it and give it, win it and give it. Thank you very much. And I'm really, really, really excited to see him. Will he play his first game against Bayern Munich though? That's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yes,
I hope so. Straight in. I want to see straight in. I want to drop these first team players straight into the team. I think Bayern, we've got to go strong as well. For me, I think with PSG coming up, I think we need to go strong. But I still think that between now and Bayern, which is Thursday, I know it's only 4 days, people. I think we've got to bring in a creative midfielder, because otherwise we're just not going to link play. That's the problem, right, Kate? It's all well and good getting the DM, but if you do not have that conduit between midfield and attack, we're not going to create. And that's my biggest fear. That's my biggest fear with 28 days of the window to go, is that we're not going to get one. I hope I'm wrong.
I think we're going to have to rely on Bergvall for a bit, I'm afraid. I don't know how quickly we get someone in. So I think maybe we're going to have to rely on Bergvall to try and do something incredible. But it is concerning. Do you know what? It's just so gutting for Maddison as well. He's just come back. But this is what frustrates me about him, and this is why I never wanted him. Jim's always wanted Maddison at the club, but he just can't stay fit, and it drives me bonkers. But I mean, he looked like he was in absolute agony today. So I don't know how serious it is. I suppose we'll find out probably Tuesday after he's had some scans and stuff. But it doesn't.
He's
look
cooked,
good.
mate. He's cooked. Oh, that's his second knee injury. He's just come back. He made 10 games. He's same knee. He's done. He's done. Like if that's a serious knee injury, which is probably his cruciate. Who am I? I'm not a doctor, but like I think he's done. Like he won't get back to his top level. You know, which is why you now don't have to worry about. You know, I was making the argument. It's amazing how fast things change in football. People will call you a flip-flop because you're suddenly bringing out a new story or a new idea or a new thought process. But when things fundamentally change, then you fundamentally should be having a flexibility of thought moment. And I think that, like, you now don't have to worry about like overcrowding the 10 because Decky's not around until March, and we don't even know if he'll make it back. That's a serious knee injury as well, by the way.
You sure March? Where'd you hear that from, Sean?
It's been on spring. People were saying he's not back until spring. It was in football. I think it was in Football London. It wasn't Ali Gold that said it. It was one of the other journalists, but said he's out until spring. So, and maybe he'll be back sooner. But either way, he's been out for a long time, so it'll take a long time to get going. I think the guy was distraught. I don't know if it was an absolute. I don't know if it was pain or whether it was just like anguish because of he knows. Like you know, as soon as something goes right. Also, can we just talk for a second? Like, is that just bad luck, or is that just yet another slight on our incredibly, incredibly poor medical team? Like, was his knee ready? Was he fully fit, or like, you know?
Do you know what? Sure,
it was bad luck.
He played for 9 minutes, and it was a non-contact injury. I just think it's bad luck. He's obviously I think he's got a weakness. And here we are again.
I don't think he was fully fit himself. But go on, Lugo, sorry.
I mean, he got injured against Bodo Glimt in the first leg, didn't he? Which was beginning of May the 1st. And he came back, what's today? 3rd of August. So it's 9 weeks. So when we're talking about 13 weeks. And, you know, who knows? Listen, I just hope it's only 3 months like it was this time.
Same. But I think that you. I mean, I'm not a massive Maddison fan anyway. I didn't particularly get on board the way he was speaking a lot in the press conferences. I think he's a little bit too cocksure and stuff. So I'd love Tottenham to go all out now for and if you can do a hybrid, right? If you can go and get a Simmons who can come off the left and play in the 10. And by the way, someone put in the comments that on the Tottenham website, it says Decky's back in September. If that's the case, then cool, brilliant. But I don't care either way, whether it's September or December or March, we have to get a 10. It's a 10. For me, I'd love to ask this. If you had to pick one right now, what's the most important position? Is it the 10 for creativity? Is it the 9 for goals? Or is it the left wing for width and for chances?
I'm not playing your game. I want all 10. I want all 3. I'm not playing your game. I want all 3. They're all the utmost importance. You can bring in a creative player if you don't have a goal scorer. Doesn't mean anything. You can bring in a left winger if you don't have anybody that can get the ball out to that left winger.
Yeah,
you know, this is why all the pieces add up, right? All the pieces add up.
Yeah, I hear you.
All the pieces add up. But I think we'll go for this guy. I do think we will. I do think we'll go for that guy. It screams of Spurs. It screams of Spurs. 22 million. Good player, but again, another young player that hasn't really proven anything. I hope
he's a highlight merchant, mate. He's a highlight merchant.
No, mate, listen, this is the sort of bloke, Sean. If Tottenham had bought in, let's say in the next 2 weeks, Tottenham bring in a 10, a 9, and an 11, if we're going to go with numbers like that. And then this deal popped up on the last day of the transfer window and you go, yeah, that's a bit of a punt. Yeah, for 22 minutes, cool. But not when he's the main guy, not being brought in as the 10. Do you know what I mean? We're Champions League now. I think we've got to step away from these type of signings. Not saying he's a bad footballer before anyone loses their mind. I just want...
Yeah, but if you go and stick his name into YouTube, you'll walk away thinking, oh, he's a top player. It's going to be a monster. You go and run him through the Y-Scout and you see is everything real and you see how overly flamboyant he is. He does these loopy, lobby, 50-yard crossfield passes because there's no one on the receiving end. There's no pressure on him. but he doesn't drive them into space. He just literally smashes it from one side of the pitch to the other when a simpler pass would have progressed the ball further. Everything he does, everything I've seen of him, I think he does like some really nice things, but a lot of it is just so that he gets on the highlight reels. He's a bit like Emerson Royale doing no-look passes to the goal line.
I don't want him, Sean. And again, when I did a video the other day saying, I think I titled it Spurs going cheap again because he's got like a 22 million relegation release clause. The amount of shit you get going, he's a baller, he's going to be amazing in a few years, have patience. And I'm like, right, can we, when we're talking about players, could we just for once stop talking about patience, potential, ceilings? I'm bored of talking about, I've never talked about ceilings in my life, right? Can we stop doing this? Can we actually go out and get, right now, go and get 3 senior pros that play in the number 10, the number 9, and the left? Yes, I'm aware someone like Harvey Elliott's only 22, but again, look how much experience he's got by that age. So that's where I am. I mean, El Canous, Kate, Lubo, El Canous?
Not for me. We need better.
I agree.
We need better. If you bring him in, you've got no idea whether he's going to be consistent. Whether he's going to be worth his place. You've got to bring players in that you're going to get a regular minimum 7 out of 10 every game.
Archie Gray.
Listen, Gray will now get an education with Palhinha, which is brilliant for him.
Yep.
Along with Frank, you know me, I'm confident.
I'm still loading him to Brentford. That's what I'm doing. My plan is to load him to Brentford as part of this deal.
If we smash it up in the Premier League, the problem is we are short of homegrown players, aren't we, for Europe and what have you? So let's see.
Can I ask a question? What's everyone making of Savva at the minute?
So he's improved. Right, he's the most improved in the pre-season for sure. He looks really good. That's
what I was going to say, but I don't want to be one of these overreactive fans that go, "Wow, he looks so different and he looks so improved," but he really does to me.
Yeah, this is where I have my problem with pre-season, right? we seem to do this. Not, by the way, not Spurs fans, football fans. Like football fans do this. You have a player who plays really well in pre-season, and we go, "Oh my god." Oh my God. I remember a few years ago, Ndombele had a really good pre-season and everyone lost their mind. And this guy's going to be amazing. And he got to the league games and it was just, more Ndombele. Like, I think Sar's done really well. I don't think he's a good footballer. I think he's got a great engine. I think he's got a good work rate. He gets forward and gets into the box. For me, it's the simple, I keep saying this to Sean and Lubo lately, and probably bored of me saying it. He's another one at Spurs where I feel they do the difficult thing really well. And then when it comes to the easy thing, I just think they lose concentration. Brennan Johnson does that. Bergvall does the difficult thing really well. When I want him to do something nice and easy, like give a 5-yard attempt, gives it away. And I'm like, Spence battles his man, knocks him off the ball, wins it, comes clear. And you're like, brilliant. 5-yard pass. It's giving it away. And you're like, come on. The jury's out for me on Sarr. The jury's out. He's been here a long time now. I don't know when everyone's fit. Sean made a good point there. If you've got Palhinha sitting in the hole, Bentancur for me is the 8 and we need a 10. I don't know where Sarr fits in. I think he's someone to bring on to close out games. Maybe I'm harsh. I don't know.
I think he's someone who's perfect to bring on when you're 1-0 up or 2-0 up, and it doesn't matter what point in the game, even if it's in the 50th minute, 60th minute, his ability for me is so unique. Like I don't think there's another player in the Premier League that I can think of that is quite like him. And his ability to cover blades of grass is deceptive. His ability to read the game, interpret, anticipate, and intercept is second to none. He cuts things out and he gets the ball going in transition very, very quickly. Where he lets himself down is sometimes his final pass in that when he gets the ball going, he then if he can calm down with his mind and think before he does that final release, he really could be a great player. But I think where you can use him is when teams are chasing games, and then he can sit in there and just pick them off, and then go and then give it to a Kudus, give it to insert whoever we hopefully get in there, and then go and finish the game off. I think he'll be super valuable, and I think Palhinha behind him would be really useful in that role as well. So I think, like I say, I think Palhinha just allows a lot more just a lot more expansiveness with some of these other people that are in front. Whoever it is we pick, whether it's Bergvall, Bentancur, Sarr, whatever, that 8 is going to have a little bit more liberal freedom to be able to do some really interesting things, knowing that you've got the guy behind that can just tidy things up if it goes wrong. It's exciting as long as we fix the front line.
Just quickly, Lubo, before you come in, just quickly, some breaking news from the world of football for anyone that cares. Leicester City have just accepted a £9.5 million bid from Besiktas for Wilfred Ndidi. So any Leicester City fans out there, you're about to lose Ndidi. Sorry, Lubo, as you were.
Yes, indeed.
I think defensively we're as strong as we have been for some time.
Agreed.
I really do. You know, so you got to go back. For me, you got to go back to the Poch era.
Agreed.
Go back 6, 7, 8 years before we had and we got strength in depth as well. You know, you lose Romero, Danso comes in, and it's funny. It's noticeable that he's been playing Danso and Van der Ven together quite a bit through pre-season as well, just in case one of the Spanish clubs does find the money that Spurs want for Romero. But you know, you've got, for me, Vuskovic will come through over the next year or two, and who knows? You know, hopefully Dragosin will come back, and he'll come back all guns firing, particularly under Frank. So we're not short of sense. We're not short of centre halves.
Do we know when Dragosin's back, Lubo?
Christmas. They reckon Christmas.
Is it that long? Is it? Okay, now.
Yeah. So,
by the way, Palhinha just said in his interview that Thomas Frank was a massive pull in him joining, but I was assured that Thomas Frank's got no pull. And that he's a crappy little manager.
Yeah, I can see what's coming tomorrow.
I'm just saying. I keep being told he's got no pull.
Did he say? I want to thank Mr. Levy for believing in me and looking off to the side to check he's not going to get his
He literally said here. He said here in my negotiations with Daniel Levy and Thomas Frank, they both had massive pull, and I want to go to the club that are going to win the Champions League and Premier League. That's what he said.
Yeah. There was a comment in here, Sean. There was a comment in here before, just asking, will Daniel Levy bring your name up in conversation with Gary Neville?
I'm actually really upset, right? Like Simon Jordan. I've been called a poor man, Simon Jordan. Simon Jordan doesn't have the pull to get the Daniel Levy interview, but Gary Neville does. I think if anyone deserves an interview with Daniel Levy, it's this guy. If Tottenham Hotspur admin, if you're watching, I know you guys keep an eye on what's going on in the zeitgeist. If you're watching, I've never doubted you, bro. Everybody else has been going after you. I've been there for you. You owe me an interview, or at least a season ticket or something. You owe me something. The amount of flack that I've taken for you, Daniel. The amount of flack, bro.
Absolutely shameless.
Content's got a content, Lubo. Content has to content, you know.
Do you know, Sean? Do you know what I find so funny about being a YouTuber is how so many thousands of people watch every day and then still get annoyed about contenting. I find it hilarious. Going, oh, don't you guys get bored of talking about the same things? I don't know. You're in here watching, like I don't know, like aren't you?
Yeah. Who gets bored first? Is it me talking about it or you listening to me talk about it?
Yeah. Hang on. Oh, my mate Soul Sniper Gaming. This guy gone after me for weeks now. Big season for him, Savva. There will be 60 games. It's not about the first 11. You know this. Who are we talking about? Sarr? Of course, yeah. Of course. I didn't say sell him, did I? I yes, it's a massive season. There's a lot of games. Of course. I'm not sure where that's come from. Just because I don't think a player's amazing doesn't mean I think they're shit, by the way. Look, guys, girls, we've got to talk about it. The elephant in the room was Sonny. Lots of people saying, would this be his last game today? Would he play against Bayern Munich? Would he make the Super Cup or Burnley? I think we've got our answer from today. And it was a lovely way for him to be sent off, right? Captaining Spurs in his hometown city, getting the old, what's it called? The Guard of Honor, so to speak.
Yeah. Just quickly, though, how is it in that second half? We had about 6 minutes of people giving Sonny a hug. We had a water break. and we had a massive injury to Maddison, and then we only got 2 minutes of injury time.
I know. I
Well,
maybe
funny.
he looked-
That ref had a date later that night, didn't he? That ref was like, no, come on, guys, Date's got a date here. I got to go for some sushi or some shit,
Maybe he looked at both teams' forward lines and went, no one's scoring, even if I give them 100 minutes extra time. I'll wrap it up early. A fitting way, and that's got to be his last, right? I think we now know the deal is done at $20 million, which is what, 15 million quid. How are we all feeling, Sonny?
Yeah, time was right. Felt a bit sad when I heard the news yesterday morning. I think Sonny was the last. I don't include Davis because he was a bit part player under Poch. But for the main part, that Sonny's the last of Poch's team. And that was, for me, that was a lovely period for me watching Spurs over the years. Those 4 or 5 years with Pochettino were fantastic. It was great. The first season was a bit, okay, nothing great. But after that, with the Leicester season, then Chelsea leading up.
Every season bar his first. Amazing return. He got 20 GA in every nine straight Premier League seasons.
Yeah. And it was, for me, it's sad because he's the last one of that team. Those 11, 12 players.
Ben Davies. Don't you forget about Ben Davies.
Yeah, but he's never leaving, is he? He's never leaving.
The book club. What's the book club going to do without Ben Davies?
I mean, who's going to go first, Davis or Levy? I mean, who's going to stay longest? What do you reckon?
Ben Davis will stay longer than Levy. Ben Davis is.
Yeah.
Ben Davis is going to be playing for Spurs in the year 2090. Like
they won't make a statue of Ben Davies. They'll just place him on a pedestal outside the stadium. He will just go, there's Ben Davies still here.
Now he'll be club ambassador, won't he?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, Joe. You don't need to understand how he doesn't get into my Premier League top 10 Spurs of all time. It's not as long as he gets in yours, be happy.
He doesn't get into your Premier League top 10 Spurs of all time. Have you named your previous? Have you named it?
No, I just rattled off loads and loads of players who I prefer, but everyone got very upset by this. Very upset.
Fair enough.
Really upset, Sean. Like last night, this is how bad it got. Last night, as soon as the show finished, the cult of Son descended upon my comments on the video, and the abuse got so much, not just to me, to all my guests as well, that I literally, for the first time ever, turned off the comments from a stream.
Really?
First time ever. It was disgusting. It was absolutely vile. Anyone would think that I've said, I've said something about their mum, or it was just absolutely mental, purely because I didn't think he was world class. It was absolutely mad. Like the names that who was being called names, Luke was being called names in my vile, and they were all descending.
The whole world class debate, though, right? It's an entirely a subjective thing. Like what you first of all, what you consider world class to be could be different to someone else in terms of how, and then also people of the whole continent. Oh yeah. Was all of the vile comments weirdly translated?
Yeah, there were a lot. Do you know what? That's a few places I can't go now. I can't go to South Korea. I'm not allowed to go to Australia.
Yeah.
There's a few countries we're on the no-fly list.
You're banned from every Korean restaurant worldwide now, Sam.
I'm not allowed to go to Leeds because of my Archie Gray opinion.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's so strange how people get so offended by the football opinion of another person. It's wild.
Honestly, some of the big guys, I can't say it now live, but some of the, don't get me wrong, there were loads that were going, you mug, so-and-so's a mug, but there were some that were wishing death and stuff. It was, I was reading it going, this is just, these comments used to bother me, Sean, but I'm just looking at this going, this is weird now, I hope you die, how can you not rate Son? And I'm like, what on earth is going on here? First of all, I never said I didn't rate him. Second of all, You don't like a footballer, die. I hope you die. One of them said, I love this one. It's the specific death that I like, not just die. I hope you die in a house fire. Like, it's really specific, really specific. You know, like, oh, but anyway, so yeah, the comments got turned off. And what people started doing was going to my previous show earlier in the day and saying, as you turn comments off, I'm going to post it.
It's like an FFP loophole. We'll figure a way. We've got to get that comment made. He's got to know how I feel. I'm going to find a way. I'll go back to a previous video and let him know there. That'll teach him. That'll teach him for turning off the comments.
So Savva's like Levy.
Utter madness. The thing is, when people say to me, if you picked your Premier League 11 of Spurs all time, do you think there's any way in which I'm not putting that man and Gareth Bale ahead of Son? Don't come at me. Don't come at me. He's not any. Don't. No. That's just my personal choice. Everyone's welcome to have who they want in their team. If Lubo wants Archie Gray in his central midfield alongside Modric, go for it. Knock yourself out. Not a problem.
My 11 would beat your 11.
I'm sure it wouldn't, because you'd have the
My 11 would smash anybody's 11.
Go on. What is your 11? What's your all-time best Spurs 11?
No, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I haven't thought about it. I'm just telling you that I'm confident in my ability to pick the best 11 out there, and you wouldn't be able to compete.
Also,
do you want to know? Do you want to know mine, Sean?
Premier League 11.
My Premier League Spurs 11.
Yeah,
Spurs. No one else.
Okay, we're playing the game. I'm going to go on squad selector right now. Make mine.
I can do it right off the top of my head, right? And this, I'll tell you, it's going to piss a few people off royally. Ready? Sod it. Eric Torsvet in goal. Going with Carl Walker at right back. Carl Walker at right back.
You've already lost. You've already conceded 4 goals. What are you doing here? Go on,
hang on.
The Viking. What is wrong with you? He's a legend.
I would have had Espen Bardson ahead of Eric Torsvet. What are we doing there?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Espen Bardson was the greatest shot stopper Tottenham have ever had.
What's going on here? Anyway, Torsvet, Walker, King, Campbell.
Yeah.
Walker, King, yeah, but I'm doing it on football. I'm not doing it on Walker, King.
Yeah, go on.
Walker, King, Campbell. And I think at left back, I can't remember who I went for.
Stuart Kotu or Danny Rose?
No, you put Justin Edinburgh, didn't you?
I don't know if I put Edinburgh or Ziege in there. Anyway, I don't think we've had the greatest left backs in my
Rose.
I thought Danny Rose was good for a couple of years. I didn't think he was as brilliant as everyone said.
Ahead of
anyway,
Justin Edinburgh, God rest his soul. What are we doing here?
Hang on. Yeah, but
Christian Ziege.
Hang on. Let me get the team out.
I have to react as you're going through it. This is madness.
Christian Ziege pisses all over Danny Rose. Let's have that right. Let's get that absolutely right.
How many games did he play?
Yeah, but hang on. I thought Danny Rose was massively overhyped. I thought he had a really great year or so, but I thought anyway. My midfield 2, yeah, is Modric and Dembele, right? And then I'm having a 3 behind a striker of Ginola, Bale, and I'm going to put Sheringham in the 10. And then up front, Jurgen Klinsmann.
So you played a 4-2-3-1. This came, Sean, because the 2 marks asked everybody to send their all-time best Spurs 11 in. My 11 were, and obviously there are certain players in I'm going to put in that.
No, hang on, Premier League, Lubo. Premier League.
No, it wasn't Premier League. This was Jennings.
No, this conversation we've just had. Hang on, Lubo.
We were talking about.
Sean just said Premier League 11. If we're going to change it, if we're not doing Premier League 11, let me give my all-time 11.
Well, go on then. That's what I thought you were going to do.
Well, that completely changes the conversation, doesn't it? Because now I've got Hoddle in there.
Does it for you?
Of course it does.
Go on.
Of course it does, because now I've got Hoddle in there. Yeah. Now I've got
Just quickly, Savva. You really screwed up by putting in. Was it Ziegler? You said.
No,
You should have put Gareth Bale in at left back and then gone a different formation. That way you could squeeze a bit more creativity in there. You know?
Yeah, I could have done. I was happy with the creativity of Sheringham, Ginola, and Bale. I thought that was pretty.
Yeah, you haven't got a proper 6 in behind though. My team would just thread balls past. Once you get over Dembele's head, mate, you're in trouble. You're in trouble down the back.
Modric and Dembele, you think would be easy to get in behind?
Just a little bit over the top, mate. I'd put it into Ledley King's weak side because his knee, he was swimming all week and stuff, so there'd be a chance to get in behind.
I genuinely think that left back, throughout all the years, I think left back and right wing have been two areas where we've not been blessed. Not been blessed with, I think we've had loads of top centre mids, loads of great strikers, loads of good centre halves. I don't think we have at left back or right wing. I think we've had a few, but none that I go, oh my God, he is like Walker. Do we all agree? Carl Walker for Premier League right back was amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had that on the left. I like Rose, but yeah. Anyway, so that's why someone was annoyed with me that I didn't get Son in there because I picked Ginola and Bale as my wide men. I'm not sorry. Hashtag not sorry.
A few comments in here about the 60s and 70s.
You haven't squeezed Berbatov in there either, though. That's a tough one.
Well, when I look at the strikers, I think the best. Look, I could have put Kane in there for ease, right? Because he's our record goal scorer. But Jurgen Klinsmann at the time, Jurgen Klinsmann for me is the only world-class player we have ever signed since the 90s. I think he's the only world-class signed at world-class level. Yeah. And his link up with Sheringham for me was just on a different planet. Like I thought those two together were sublime. But then I could have had Berbatov. I could have had Kane. You got Son in there as well. Chris Waddle. I could have had Chris Waddle on the right-hand side. Class player. I could have had Michael Carrick. Absolute superb midfielder. Out of Ireld for Tongan. Gary Mabbott. There's a lot of footballers that you could pick, but
how many world-class players do you think have left Tottenham in the Premier League era or gone on to become world-class?
Bale, Modric, Sheringham,
Kane,
My
Dembele. roundabout point here is we can probably argue over whether there's 5, 6, or 7, but if we've only ever signed one and we've actually created and generated and then sold 6, 7, 8 world-class players that have gone on, then my chairman has done a really Carl Walker, another one. Then my chairman actually needs a little bit more respect on his name from the man in the top right. Because
Sol Campbell.
Yeah.
Listen, as much as people hate that man, we hate him.
It's not shameless, mate. You know, Daniel Levy generates world-class talent at Tottenham Hotspur.
We're back to Levy.
There aren't many. My all-time team, and there aren't many Levy players here.
He didn't play in the Premier League for Tottenham.
No.
He didn't play in the Premier League for Tottenham.
By the way, just to put it straight, Waddle didn't play in the Premier League for Tottenham either. But my team would have been.
I didn't. No one said he did.
No. Jennings, Perryman right back, Toby and Ledley, Cyril Knowles left back, midfield 3 of Ardiles, Hoddle and Gascoigne, and up front Bale, Kane and Greaves. And I think that will take any team that you guys want to put out. There you go. No argument there, is there? They've all gone quiet.
I don't know. I don't know.
You're older. You got to see Spurs when we won league titles and had world-class players week in, week out.
I didn't see them win the league championship, unfortunately, but I saw a good few of those players from 65 onwards.
We should play like Tottenham top trumps and see if you get that designed and play that over a game. You know, that'd be good.
I'm not sure. Can I just say, for all of the people in the chat saying no Gascoigne, please learn your years at Tottenham. Paul Gascoigne never played a game for Tottenham in the Premier League era. His last game for Tottenham, anyone?
Was the cup final in 91.
Cup final in 1991 when it was Division 1. That's why. And look, here you go. Look, you just put Sol Campbell in, Savva, really ruffled some fair. Listen, on ability, Sol Campbell is the best centre-back I've seen at Tottenham. Sorry, I think he was absolutely world-class. He was just not such a nice guy. Oh, Kate, go on, Kate, go on.
I just couldn't put him in my team because I just couldn't say the name. I can't.
It was 30 years ago. We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Nothing. You're not going to self-combust if you say Sol Campbell's name. I promise you.
I think, Sean, you're underestimating how good Christian Ziga's free kicks were as well. Absolute baller at free kicks.
He was injury prone to the hill, wasn't he?
Yeah, but top footballer for Germany, for Liverpool, the top footballer.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he was. If we're saying that Danny Rose was only good for a little while, I'm sure Danny Rose played more games more consistently than. And did Christian Ziga get to a Champions League final? Did Christian Ziga nutmeg the was it Ziyech? Was it Ziyech to start the move that got us back in the game against Ajax?
No, but he played for Bayern Munich, AC Milan, Liverpool, and the German national team. That tells me how good a fucking footballer Christian Ziga was. In an era where those teams were banging.
What year did he come to Tottenham?
He came to Tottenham in 2001.
So was that a Levy signing?
Levy deserves loads of credit, doesn't he, Sean?
Levy gets loads of credit. Loads of credit. It's always forgotten about. You know, he signs world-class players and he creates even more of them. You know, what a man, my chairman. Well played. That's
by the way, can we say this guy for me? By the way, Michael Carrick for me, one of the most underrated Premier League players of all time. Let alone Spurs. I feel like the years he was at Man United, when he left, they went downhill. Everyone says about Scholes. This guy was superb. Loved him.
You know who I always had a soft spot for Tommy Huddlestone. His ability to shoot from he could thunder a ball and keep it so low. I love Tommy Huddlestone.
Here's a good one. Kit Coys. He says best player he's ever seen in a Spurs shirt. Maradona in Ozzy's testimonial. Who's the best player? Who's the best player? I've got to agree with you on that one. Who would you say is the best player you guys have seen in the Spurs shirt?
I saw Messi take a Spurs shirt after watching him at Wembley, which was one of the single greatest displays I've seen from a footballer. He was immense, wasn't he, that night? Every night. He's just, he was immense. He was just immense, wasn't he?
Kate, who's your favourite Spurs player?
That I've seen, actually at a match. Is that what you mean? Like, who I've actually witnessed playing?
Gareth Bale was sensational.
It's tough because Bale was brilliant, but I think I'd have to go with Ginola just because he's so beautiful as well.
Ginola used to just run into players and it would bounce off of their. It would bounce. I know it always annoys him when I say this, but I remember Ginola. When we go Ginola, I was there, have a season tickets. I had this impression that a lot of the time the ball would come to him and he would sort of just run forward, like step, and then he would sort of bounce it into the shins of another player. It would come back and it would sometimes.
This is as shit as your tells a good player opinion.
Every time I was saying that he had a habit of banging it into people's legs and it bounced back, hit his legs, and carried on.
How many double players did he win?
Ginola was in one of the best Spurs songs ever, but I can't sing it over a YouTube channel. That was brilliant.
I loved watching him. If we had a Ginola type player now, I'd pay Levy to go and watch. If we had a player like that who lights up the lane, I'll go and watch. But
you won't, mate. Not with these recent live stream numbers you're getting, mate, for your watch along. Content's got a content, Sav. Content's got a content, mate. Congratulations on that, by the way, mate. You're absolutely killing it. Lads and ladies, I have to go. I'm absolutely shattered tonight. I need to go to bed.
No worries. Take care, Sean.
Thanks for having me. Take care, guys.
Everyone, subscribe to Spurs Talk Show.
Looking forward to hearing about your spin doctoring in leaving Gary Neville's interview tomorrow.
Do we know what time it's coming out at?
I don't know what time yet.
It better not be on at 8 p.m. It better not be on at the same time as the Spurs 5, or we're in a whole world of trouble. But the good thing is that next Thursday, in a week's time or 4 days' time, 5:30 is the game against PSG. Perfect. Straight after that, Savva's going to send 75,000 people over to.
I don't get that many on my watch-alongs.
Well, it's the views are the views, mate.
Actually, yeah, I do quite well on the watch-alongs. It's because I think I'm John Motson. That's all it is. I'm like a cross between John Motson, Martin Tyler, and the greatest ever, Jonathan Pearce.
Jonathan Pearce was fantastic when it was on the radio, so you didn't actually see what he was
Capital
saying.
Gold, wasn't it?
Capital Gold. Yeah, he was phenomenal on the radio because he made it sound so. But when you actually saw the game that he was commentating on, I don't think it quite hit the same. Anyway, guys, love you all. See you soon.
Oh, we'll wrap up in the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes, guys. But I do like the old chat about some of the players. We've had some great players at the Lane, haven't we? It's just almost like we don't ever put them together at the same time. Do you know what I mean? We have one, maybe two, but we never quite have 5 or 6 at the same time where you can go, oh, look at this world-class team. But hey, Levy or Vinay, don't do that for us, depending on who Lubo is blaming on any given day.
Listen, they brought Lineker in and sold Waddle, didn't they? It was, it's just that.
Yeah. Ronnie Rosenthal. Anyone remember that miss against the
I
crossbar?
do.
Do you remember the hat trick of Southampton? What a night!
I remember him in a cut. Didn't we win 6-2 or something?
We were 2-0 down after about 20 minutes, I think. And literally.
Was it 6-2 though? Did we win it 6-2? Yeah.
After extra time.
In our yellow kit?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. Wow. Those were I miss those days. I really do. I tell you what, it's so funny how just a football opinion really upsets so many people. You didn't pick Son in your 11. All right.
We talk about left backs. I'm just trying to think. Was Chris Hughton still playing in the Premier League era?
Nah, he wasn't even in the 91 Cup team, was he?
No, Van den Hel.
Van den Hel. Now, big Pat Van den Hel.
Mitchell Thomas played.
Like.
No, Thomas was 87. Van den Hel was 91, wasn't he?
I used to have a mad crush on Van den Hel as well.
Big Pat, you had a crush on Pat Van den Hel? He was a psycho, wasn't he? He was an absolute hard bastard, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was it Everton?
It was. He came from Everton, I think.
He was part of the team that won the league, right?
Yeah.
With Peter Reid and all them lot and Graham Sharp.
A great team in '85. What a side they had.
God.
I've got to say, Savva, after your message this morning, I said to Jim, I don't understand why people get so emotional about like a player leaving. And then I cried when Sonny went off the pitch today. I did cry. I got completely overwhelmed just watching his little face and everyone paying him so much respect that I did shed a tear. I'm not too proud to say it. But
I think lots of people cry when they see Sonny because Sonny's always crying. Like this man can't get through a conversation, can he, without tearing up? But listen, best of luck to him, LA. I think that, and fair play to Spurs, by the way, because I feel like Palhinha could have been announced yesterday, but I think that they've waited.
Held it back deliberately, I think.
Yeah. Oh God, we're doing this again. Savva. Oh, here we go. So he scored the second most amount of goals in the Premier League for a winger ever. Sure, but if you play 10 years, you're gonna, aren't you? I mean, let's be fair. If Ronaldo had stayed in the Premier League, how many would he have got? If Van Nistelrooy had stayed in the Premier League, look. Faizan, I'm not telling you who to call world class. You don't tell me who to call world class. How's that? Is that fair? Each to their own. Guys, I think we'll leave it there. I'm going to do some super chats quickly. And yes, rest in peace to Justin Edinburgh, who, by the way, is the only player since 1990 that's won 2 trophies with Tottenham Hotspur. He won the 91 FA Cup and the 99
League Cup.
99 League Cup. So I think a fair bit more respect needs to go on him. He was a decent left back that did his job. But yeah, it is what it is. Let me do some super chats quickly. Big up to Orchard 771.
Can you hear Jim? He went, so he won 2 cups. He won the European Cup and the Hong Kong Cup.
Shameless. Hang on. If you're going to do that, Jim, let's chuck in the Water Toll, the Audi Cup. Let's chuck them all in. Chuck them all in. Serial winner.
He's a multiple winner.
He's a multiple winner. Sure, yeah. And I'm Britain's sexiest man of the year 3 years in a row, Jim. Don't worry about that. Orchard 771 says, relax, guys. You all dismiss Bergvall, who can play 10. He's proven that he's ready. I'm going to completely disagree with you. I don't think in any way, shape, or form he's proven he can play the number 10 role at all. I don't see him as a 10. Just quickly, Kate Lubo, I keep hearing he's a 10, but I don't think he's a creative footballer. I don't.
He's a box to box for me.
I agree.
He's an 8.
I agree.
And he's going to be a very good 8. But
I agree.
Put him as a 10. Donnelly's more of a 10 than Bergvall, that's for sure.
Yeah, I knew you'd have to get that in there. Big up to you, Orchard. Listen, I don't think it's about relaxing as well. I don't want to rely on kids. We're going into a Champions League season, Orchard. Like I don't want to be saying relax. We've got an 18, 19-year-old who's never played number 10 before. That's just not how I want to work as a football club. Big up to Jamie Kearns, who said we should be all over Morgan Rogers, especially with Villa's PSR issues. I mean, Morgan Rogers is in the middle of signing a new 5-year contract at Aston Villa. I can only imagine how much money it's going to take Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa. If they sell for PSR issues, it's going to be Ramsey for a start. It's not going to be Morgan Rogers. I love him, great player, but it's going to be very, very expensive. Big up to Boris 42412 said Milo has stalled with Atletico, 17 million. Good player. Very good player. Very much a Morgan Gibbs White mold. I would take him all day long. Have you guys seen him? Heard of him?
I've heard of him, but I don't know that much about him, to be fair. I've been watching Sean's videos and stuff about him, so I'm not going to say too much because I don't know too much about him.
No, me neither.
Good player. Really, really classy footballer, this lad. Listen, if Atletico can't get it over the line and we can, I'm all for it. Bring him in. Big up to you. Thank you very much. Cat Funt has said, did you see Gray turn into a man after the elbow? I saw the elbow hit Archie Gray square on the chin. Fair play to Archie. Took it and carried on. Lubo's best mate, Joel Linton. That was Lubo's best mate, Joel Linton. Big up to you, Cat Funt. Big up to a user who said, where was Bergvall last season?
Don't get that. Can't agree with
just quickly, a user, can you let us know, not in a super chat, let us know in what context before I completely rip this apart. What context? Big up to you, my man. Big up to Fane, who said, legend has it, if you say Archie Gray's name 3 times in front of a mirror, Lubo will appear to defend him. Yeah, it's the same with Sean and Daniel Levy. It's the same with me and David Ginola. Yeah. It's the same with Kate and Pat Van Den Houw, apparently. So got to do what you got to do. Big up, Fane. Really appreciate that. Listen, Kate, thank you very much. Where can people find you?
Sorry, I've just got to say, Savva, I did see someone ask if you'd had your tattoo done. And I said no, but I had mine, and they asked to see it. So there was the Ange quote. It's who we are, mate. He's forever embezzled on my arm, forever. So that was a bet that I said I would do. So
do you know what? Do you know what, Kate?
It's always a reminder
of shame of this, right? Is I got my fake. I got 30 of them, right? And do you know what? If the internet hadn't have been so vile to me about it, I would have done it. But do you know what happened? What turned from being a very innocent joke between me and Jacob turned into somebody clipping it, posting a video about it, then calling me a CUNT, telling me I'm not a man of my word, I'm a weasel, I'm a wanker, I'm a prick. Multiple people then joined in, and I just went, oh no, you've now taken what was meant to be a bit of a laugh and a joke, and you've made it really sinister. So I was like, nah, fuck you. I was like, I know that sounds, I was like, nah, sod you. I mean, it was just a bit of a laugh. There was no real bet. It was just me going, I'll tell you what I'll do. And everyone, as always, everyone had to ruin it. Everyone
exactly. You can't have fun anymore. But
no fun. I mean, I couldn't believe it. People were making videos about it as though like it was a life and death thing, and I was like, what are we doing here? This is mental. Anyway,
sorry.
Kate, where can people find you?
You can find us here, there, wherever it is, at Kate and Jimbo. We're back tomorrow at 12:30. We're normally after Savva or around the time Savva's finishing, depending how long Savva goes for. But yeah, 12:30 most weekdays. You can find us there. And I think tomorrow night I'm on the terrace as well at 5 o'clock. So yeah, I'm always somewhere hanging around like a bad smell.
Nice. Lubo, where can people find you?
Well, at Lubo_61 on Twitter. And tomorrow night on the Spurs 5, episode 4.
There we go.
Look forward to seeing everyone there.
There we
Thank
go.
you for
Well,
the
listen,
invitation.
No,
As
you're
always.
more than welcome. Listen, thank you very much for coming on. Please subscribe as well to Spurs Talk Show. Please subscribe to Hotspur Hood for Danny. Please subscribe to Designated Hotspur with Manny as well. Thank you very much. Listen, I'm going to send you over to Don Hassam. He's live, probably talking about Isak or whatever he's talking about over there. When you get over there, please please like, and please just type in Savva Raid. I'll be back tomorrow at 10:30. Thank you very much, everyone. Much love. Take care. Welcome to Spurs Palhinha. See you later, Sonny and Daniel Levy, Vinay, whoever's in charge. Get some forwards. Take care. And as always, come on. You Spurs.